Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Sean Bell.
Yeah.
I'm also here with James Farley.
Hello.
And you'd be pleased to hear that Matt's back.
Hello.
What?
Nothing.
What's that for?
Just it was a croaky hello. I've got a bit of a cold, but that's me saying hello.
Yeah, but I know, Sean. But there's a hello and a hello.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it had a flat.
Well, I haven't been off. I had a week off, so I'm all out of practice.
You're a bit rusty.
Yeah. Saying hello to people.
Yeah, I'm still no hellos. I should have been practicing in the shower.
I mean, I've been ill for a month now, just constantly ill. I'm ill again tonight. I'm fucking sick of it. Like the changing bloody climate, it's getting on my nerves. Everyone's ill, aren't they? Matt's ill. You've got a bit of a sniffle, haven't you, James?
I have, yeah. My stomach's also messed up, so it's not good.
What do you mean? Well, you're just constantly shitting.
Yeah.
Have you had
you're podcasting on a bucket?
No. Well, this was something I don't like. Just get on with it.
No. Come on, you can't just start that and then not explain. Go on.
No, I just had some rather poor choice of lunch today, and it's just.
Go on, what'd you have?
Well, no, it was supposed to be like chicken that was like spicy.
So it turned out to be pork. What? Where are you going with this?
Well, no, because it was supposed to be like spicy chicken, but it wasn't. It wasn't like
what was it?
Didn't taste good. It just tasted terrible.
Just normal chicken, was it?
It was just bad. Yeah.
Right, okay.
But what was it?
This is why I said I didn't want to get into this.
Where was it from? Name and shame. Come on.
What, you didn't want to get into this because you can't describe what you ate? Is
that
where we're going?
Isn't it? It's just not interesting. This isn't Giant Bomb. We don't start talking about that stuff.
But it could be, James, if you just told us where you got the shit chicken from.
It's true. I had a really shit curry on Saturday night, right? Yeah. We ordered it and we were like, it's quite a big thing for us to order curry. We don't do it regularly, like once every 2 or 3 months maybe. Yeah. Big deal for us. We got all excited. There's a curry place near us that's amazing. Joe refused to order from there because it's £3 more a dish. And I'm like, but we know we're going to have a good curry. She was like, no, let's try this new place. Honestly, it turned up like it was microwaved. The bloke that delivered it, right, I had to run back out to his car because he forgot my naan. And he said, all right, I'll go and get your naan bread. Just didn't turn up again. Just didn't show up. What do you do?
Wow.
What do you do with that? You can't ring up and say, give me my £2.60 back. Yeah, I angrily ate my microwave shitty curry and just threw the rest of the gravy over Joe's head for changing the place we were ordering from. That's my life. Right. Now, Matt, you weren't here last week. I hope you got notes on last week's fucking show, lad.
Oh, I've got notes, all right.
Good.
Well, okay. Well, first of all, I mean, like, Sean, I was really happy you did the feedback. I was, you gave it the respect it deserved. I was really worried it'd be James or David saying, "Oh, it's Matt's feedback bit," but you did it really well.
Thank you.
So thanks for that. There was a mention.
Wait, Sean, how does it feel to know that you're being reviewed by Matt?
It's a positive review, so I'm quite happy.
You've been podcasting for a long time. Matt's just showed up on the scene, and he's going.
No, but it's his bit. So regardless of my experience, it's always a bit weird.
That's
when
very
you hand
humble,
the section
Sean.
over,
But we all know what you're really thinking right now. Matt is a cock. Right, go on, let's go.
No, I'll give it a solid 4, Sean, out of 10.
All right, okay.
No, I'm joking. Right, last week there was like a mention. Someone said, none of you are wearing the TCGS t-shirt, right? And David, you said, Matt had like 8 computer game show shirts, didn't wear one. I wore one on the Friday. I didn't wear one on the Saturday.
I won one on the Friday, but we were talking about on stage.
I know, but just the way you were made out, was like, I didn't wear one at all. I was representing the brand on the Friday. Don't worry,
we were specifically talking about on stage on the Saturday. And you didn't wear one, but I said you had about 8 custom-made ones that didn't follow the brand of the rest of the t-shirts, and you didn't bother wearing one. They were unique
limited editions. That's what I'm saying.
Right, okay.
Anyway,
okay.
This guy called Michael Howard messaged saying he didn't come to the show because he only wanted to listen to the show. Loads of people have come certainly to the Red Show and EGX show on their own. If anyone's out listening, none of their mates listen to the show. There's always a ton of people on Discord or Twitter or whatever meeting up at any of our live shows. So don't let that put you off at all.
Too late for that. I mean, the live show's been and gone, mate.
Yeah, I know, but there'll be others. Massive ones next year. Huge ones.
Will there? Okay.
Wembley. No, I mean, not Wembley. Point. Not
pub
Wembley.
Called Wembley.
A pub in Wembley. The Sony crossplay stuff you talked about, you totally missed all the information out there. Like, there's a story about crossplay. Dave's like, okay, cool, so what happens to the Epic accounts? And James was like, I don't know, it's Fortnite, isn't it? I don't know. Anyway, basically, Epic
that's
have
James for
confirmed that basically that they're working on merging accounts, because a lot of people, basically myself included, created 2 accounts. One if they may be linked with their PlayStation account, which I couldn't unlink, and then others which works with iOS and PC and stuff. So they're working on merging them 2, which actually should be live the next day or so. And then the other one they're doing is the ability to actually unlink a console from your Epic account, because currently, I think up to now, if you've linked a PlayStation to your Epic account, you can't unlink it, and that's why it's fucked those things up.
This is why I didn't mention any of this. It's just
but it's
boring,
good to have clarification, isn't it, in a news story, James?
Boring though, isn't it?
Jesus. I guess
I'm with Matt on this one. I've got to be with Matt on this one. This is actually a question that I asked.
Here's a news story, and then the first question from Dave is like, what about that? I don't know. It's boring,
that time it wasn't confirmed. It was all still
it was definitely
in flux.
confirmed. I was listening, saying, what the fuck are you talking about? It was
because you were
confirmed.
listening a couple of days later after it had
it
been
was confirmed on the day Epic had already put a thing out. Anyway, don't worry. Oh, and I'm really happy that Google story happened again. I'm glad I missed that, actually. But Google Yeti is a real thing. Anyway, that's it. Cool. It was a great show. I loved it. Yeah, it flew by.
That's it.
Yeah, well,
that's it. You got nothing to say to James, or
well, because
I've
you had comments about the juiced moment. If you want to go for that now, absolutely.
Well, we should probably go through that now. Yeah.
Let's
explain slightly. The whole James being confronted by a dev, turns out it was a fan just on the wind up. The only one on the show that knew it was Matt. James had a meltdown at the end of the live show because
I didn't have a meltdown. It was just
you did, mate. You didn't. You should have seen the image I saw. I thought you were going to throw up.
Yeah, it was really, really bad. Actually, I was feeling.
You were looking at your feet and swaying. Like it was horrific.
Thanks.
And what do you mean? Thanks. That's what I saw. I can't. I'm not having to pop at you. It's just what I saw. So I suppose James, you gave it you spoke about it last week. Have you got anything to say to Matt before he defends himself?
No, because I'm really curious to see what he's going to say. So, go on, Matt.
All right.
Well, when Adam, I think it was Adam, started talking, saying about the story, I was thinking, oh god, what's this story going to be about? Some dev what's this going to be? And it's only then that I twigged, oh yeah, it's the juiced thing, which I remember because he messaged me in like August. Oh no, it was actually September. I thought it was like many, many months ago. Turns out it was just like 2 or 3 weeks before
just a couple
the live
of weeks,
show.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll read his DM and my DM and tell you the entire workings of this entire plot. He said, "Hey, can't wait for EGX on Saturday. Was thinking I might wind up James during the Q&A section of the live pod by pretending to be a disgruntled dev who worked on Juice and is wanting feedback on what he thinks about the game. Seeing as he's such a big fan, what do you think?" And
you said no. That's really putting him on the spot, and it would be awful.
I did not say that. I responded saying that would be amazing. If you can carry it off, do your research, and it will be incredible! Exclamation mark.
Do your research. Do your research.
Yeah, and he said, "Okay, we'll do. I'll try and prep. I'll leave it to you whether you let David and Sean know." And that was the end of that.
So you chose not to. Yeah.
Well, I just thought it'd be funny if they didn't know. But yeah,
Matt, we've done that before, and it doesn't work. It never works when we ever do that. I
realise that now. It's like 2 on the bounce. Anyway, yeah. I mean, at the time, I was like, "Oh god, this is bad." But it did sort of kill the show because people were scared to ask questions.
Then you were going, "So what are you going to say, James? Look, you've completely upset this."
What was that about? I mean, read the room. It was already all like tense and horrible, and then you started winding it up further.
I know. I didn't know where it was going to end, but I thought, well, I could just sit here silently in my chair, or I could just like crank it up a notch and see what happens.
Yeah, expense of a friend.
What an arsehole.
I'm sorry. I mean, so after it happened, I mean, like, okay, yes, okay. Some other things that I mentioned last week's show. You said, if this was reversed, would I have done this to him? I mean, actually, if it was reversed, James, there's no way in hell I would have handled it anywhere near as good as you done. I was thinking, I listened again to the show today and thinking, God, if it happened to me, I just would have, I don't know, blobbed? I don't know what I would have done, but I definitely would have handled it anywhere,
why didn't you think about that
you.
Before you okayed it then?
Because I knew you'd handled it well. Also, James, you said, "Oh, David," you said the worst thing actually is that I had to find out from you, rather than me telling you. I mean, basically, that was literally seconds after the show had ended. At that point, I was busy trying to make sure we got the audio from the sound guys. So I apologise that maybe I had to find out elsewhere.
Yeah, but I mean, you're making it sound worse, if anything, Matt. There. I mean, you're using that as a defence, but really, what you're saying is that I was more worried that the audio came out than my friend's feelings.
Well, at that point, I wasn't aware James was having a meltdown.
How could you not be aware? I mean, you just had to glance at the man.
I didn't glance at the man. I was just a bit shaken, like from what had happened.
A bit shaken.
Yeah, you're definitely shaken. I mean, I apologise, and even after I think on the train back, I was like, I felt so bad because you didn't look in a good place at all.
Do you remember late that night? We didn't get in till 2:00 in the morning that night, right? And we bundled into Sean's bedroom.
Oh yeah, I was so close to just ripping all my clothes off and jumping in the bed, but I thought I wasn't quite drunk enough.
Grabbing some chocolate chip cookies like little children and
proper little
sleepover.
Nice.
That little bit of the audio. We all listened to it.
We'd all had a few drinks. I was like, I'll get the laptop. Let's go into Sean's room. We're sort of semi-whispering. How's it going, Sean? Yeah, I'm okay. Get the cookies out. Let's press play on the file.
And the bit where you go, where you sort of egg him on, we all looked at each other, just went, "Oh, Matt, what are you doing?"
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, James. It's definitely a moment. I think it'll go down in history, but I do feel bad.
I'm sorry, but it was worth it, wasn't it?
Do you know what? I will say this about James, right? On the way home, you are very, very close friends when you can do this, right? James and we got on the train on the way home, and James looked at me without even considering if it's rude or not, turned around and said, "I'm just going to put my headphones in and listen to podcasts." And I went, that is the best thing you could have said to me, because I just want to sit in silence for 2 hours. Like, it was so fun. It was just like, thank God. It's like when you finally know that your girlfriend is more than just a girlfriend, when you can both just sit there quietly and not talk to each other for an hour or so. That's like a great moment. So we were on the train. James had his headphones in and I was asleep. So thanks for that, James.
I would definitely have appreciated that. That's it's important.
I mean, if it was you and James on the way home, I don't think you'd be talking, but for different reasons. Not because you're comfortable with each other.
Yes, Matt, you should put those fucking headphones in.
What do you think about James' announcement that interface is never happening again?
Yeah, would you say it was dissolved, James?
I say it's kind of done, isn't it, now? I mean...
But there's an October event with new iPads.
There was a request. Did you see we got another request today for another show?
Oh my god, I missed that. Well, we'll talk about it in the meeting tomorrow. But,
okay.
Okay, cool.
Right, okay, let's get on with the rest of the feedback. We've dealt with last week's show from you, Matt.
Yeah, but it was a good show last week.
Thanks. What do you think? I really enjoyed it last week as well. It was good. Let's hope this one is as good. Otherwise, Matt's gonna seem quite the fireable character, isn't he? If this one's a stinker, we all know who stunk it out. Let's go, Matt.
Let me go. I'm fine. It's cool.
Juiced. What are the listeners saying?
Was mentioned last week. James said, I've only mentioned it 3 or 4 times. Athena Allen, for reference, James has mentioned Juice 4 times out of the 5 pods alone. And she didn't even go back further than 5 pods.
That's before it became a running joke.
Exactly. No. That was when it had become a joke, like by that point. But before that, I'd only mentioned it once or twice.
Oh, mention what? The game itself?
Yeah.
You're telling me you've mentioned Juiced. Just what? What? What are you saying?
I know you're trying to bait me into saying it, but I'm not going to say it.
I mean, you've already said it, haven't you?
I'll tell you what, though. This weekend I was looking at like PS2s because I've got to make use of that game, obviously, that was kindly given to me.
What game?
Yeah, and so then I was just thinking,
we don't know what the game is. What game? Yeah, what's the name of the game there?
Popular game from, was it THQ? I can't remember. In the racing genre.
Was it Split Second? Blur?
Very similar to that, but with a unique marketing campaign.
I don't remember it.
Go on.
I was trying to figure out how I could stream it, because I would like to do that because I think it'd be a laugh. Can you can't like plug a PS2 in through an Xbox One through the pass-through, can you? And like stream through that?
No, it's
not possible.
It was SCART, wasn't
that's
it?
Not how it works. No.
Yeah, I presume you can't.
It's just a pass-through.
There's no HDMI lead for PS2, I guess, is there?
Otherwise, you could literally just stream BBC, BBC One to Twitch. You know what I mean?
And what's the show that would be?
Yeah, weird. I thought that was weird when I got my Xbox One X and it still had that pass-through stuff on the back. I was like, okay, I thought they would have, I don't know, moved on, but they ditched everything else.
Just had a very quick Google. £14.49 for a PS2 to HDMI converter.
Here we go, James.
I'll chip in for that, if it means getting a juice stream on the go.
I'd love to do that. I really would. It's but I do need to get a PS2 as well. So, but they should be dirt cheap.
What are they, like £7 in EGX, in CEX?
I'd look in the second-hand shop and it was like 40 quid, and I was like, oh, that's a bit too much. I don't want to spend that much.
All right, okay, let's boring. Yeah. Go next.
On last week's show, you obviously you mentioned, Dave, you mentioned a story about the fact that you're standing next to a guy wearing a TCGS t-shirt at EGX, and he did the Fonz.
Oh, God,
anyway, we found out who it is. It's Tom Egerton. Tom Egerton came back to us and said, I was the guy stood next to you at EGX playing Moonlighter. My recollection is different, however. I enthusiastically ayed back at you, but then can only come back with, all right, as a greeting. You walked off not wanting to engage with your fans.
Oh, God.
and David responds, holy fuck, thanks ever so much for getting back. I'm sorry if I was weird. I didn't hear you say A or even all right. Mate, I'm really sorry if I came across rude. Tom Egerton, just thought you had somewhere to be. I was happy with a little interaction and recognition, but kicking myself and not being able to come up with something more engaging than, all right, came away thinking I handled it pretty badly and you just weren't up for that.
I mean, I guess it was just one of those situations where, neither of you ever been like, none of us are used to being in a situation like that. It was really loud or whatever. I didn't hear him say A. I didn't hear him say all right. So in my head, he was just a man staring at me.
Yeah, he continues, basically, ignore me, EGX, then mugged me off on the pod. But you made up for it, so I'll let it slide. So at one point, Tom was thinking, hang on, I was next to David Turner's, the show I listened to, and probably he ignored me, then I'm watching a live show, he's mugging me off again, oh my God, but thankfully it's just a misunderstanding.
Do you know what was strange, right? And this isn't his fault, but he was at the live show and at the pub afterwards.
Yeah.
Right, but he didn't mention it. Like, I saw you yesterday.
Yeah, but also, David, I didn't recognise him.
Yeah,
because I think my brain just blocked out that whole incident. I was so, honestly, I was so cringing out at myself than anything else that I just did. My brain must have just shut down for a bit. I can't believe, because thinking back, maybe they look the same. I mean, they were the same person, of course they did, but it's just, I don't know, man. I was just, clearly I misjudged the situation. Clearly I didn't hear what was said to me and I fucked it up. I would like to make it clear to Tom that I spoke to him for a long time in the pub afterwards and he was the soundest bloke, that I've ever met. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but he was sound. He was sound. He was a nice bloke.
Nice guy, Tom.
And I just feel awful that he thought for a day that I just completely fucked him off like that.
I just love the fact that, you go through life and you sort of think occasionally, oh shit, I've done or said something that's upset that person. I didn't realise at the time or whatever. But eventually you piece it together usually. But then something like this comes along and it's like two people who've got common ground and should get on, and just in seconds it's just gone.
Yeah,
it's just gone. Completely
honestly, genuinely, if it had happened any other way, if I'd have heard him say "you're all right" or "hey" or whatever, I would have sat there. I would have stood there just chatting to him. It would have been great. Meeting a listener like that is fucking fantastic. Yeah. But it just didn't happen. It's one of those situations that it was like when we met Thomas, because I couldn't hear who he said he was. Thomas, is it Thomas that tweets in and stuff?
Yeah, came down from Scotland to watch us.
Yeah. I didn't hear who he said he was, so I was like, yeah, you're right. And also, we were just about to head off for honourable mentions. And if I'd known it was him, I would have been like, oh, mate, fucking hell, and chatted to him. But, it's just, we're not used to any of this stuff, right? We don't get spotted. We don't know what the fuck's going on. And we feel terribly, not awkward because of you, but because we don't know how to handle any situation. I mean, it's been lovely.
I will say that, Sean and James, did any of you go, hey, listener, over that weekend?
I can't control that, Matt. It was the first thing that come into my head.
I love happy days. What can you do?
I'm just a mess. I'm a mess. All right. Okay.
Also on last week's show, David, you had like that idea where like, wouldn't it be great if there's a World War II game and midway through a spaceship crashes and then there's like aliens and stuff.
It is Resistance, isn't it?
So what?
Wasn't that Resistance they did that?
That's what I would say. I'm not sure if that was exactly a story, but it was along the same vibes. Anyway,
well, it definitely wasn't because it was all over the marketing. So that's one of the main points of this game idea that I had is that it's a complete surprise. The game is fully marketed as a World War II game, and then this fucking spaceship comes out of nowhere. Like, I mean, on the front cover, there's an alien skull of Resistance. So what can you do? Like, that's not what I was going for.
At Keep On Paddling on Twitter. Was I the only one that had Metal Slug 3 in my mind during David's fighting aliens alongside Nazis dream game discussion? You fight the Morden army. I think that's Morden. It could be modern and a typo, but it says Morden army, who have a bunch of Nazi-ish iconography until the last level when aliens invade and they storm the mothership together. Have you played? Okay. You love Metal Slug, don't you, Dave? Have you played that one?
I do like that game, but I don't remember that bit.
It's all falling apart. Lee the Knight. Never has James been so right about topics such as Go 8-Bit. I enjoyed the first series, but that was more than enough for me. It got stale quite quickly. YouTubers these days do a better job of drawing you back. It needed to be more varied, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, did he make those points?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes.
I mean, your point was they should just do documentaries, and I was saying that's not going to fly on mainstream television.
Boring. No, my point was that challenges are boring and that it doesn't bring people in.
Right, okay, but that's not quite the point that the listener was making there, so I'm a bit confused.
No, because I also said that documentaries did it a lot better.
Yeah, I know, but this is mainstream television, and the documentaries don't really run on mainstream television like that, do they?
This didn't either, because it got cancelled.
No, okay. I mean, what I'm saying is, never mind. You're just completely ignoring the point. Well, are you saying that
you're dodging the point because it's you're saying that he said something that I didn't say, and he's pretty much summed up what I did say, and you're just annoyed.
That's not what I heard, Sean. What is it? I mean, you're a sort of guy. Go on. What did he say?
Sean's a what?
I don't know. I'm ill. Sean, do you agree that the listener has summed up James's points, or has just made up his own points and somehow linked them to James?
I admit when I saw this, I was like, oh, is that what James said? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You're this is ridiculous. You always stab me in the back, Sean.
Sean's playing it smart. Sean is playing it smart because he knows that the Game of the Year show is just over the horizon, right? And he also knows that the past 2 years, my games have won it. So I clearly have some power in those shows. Well, we'll see. I'm going for the Hatters. Okay,
I've got axes to grind with all of you, so...
Even me? James, I don't know if you're good at maths, mate, but if you've got axes to grind with all three of us, that probably means your games are going out first, doesn't it? God.
There's no way Dave can win this year. Just...
I think there is.
Not happening. So this is going to be another Time for 2 moment. I can smell it.
I've got shit on all three of you, and it will come out if you vote against me. Because I don't care. I don't have to come back in January and deal with the awkwardness. I can just drop bombshells. What was said on that bus? Well, here's what was said on that bus. Go on.
Rick Brook in Discord said that the ongoing ignorance of any latest Assassin's Creed games is staggering from the lads. Really which one of them would play. And there's some other comments basically asking if we played like Origins or Odyssey. I mean, I have played Origins. I'm very sure, haven't you played loads of the games, James?
I've played 3 of them.
I mean, but basically, it seems like there's a bit of a sentiment that we haven't played or don't care about the Assassin's Creed games. I would like to say I definitely enjoy Origins.
It's true, and it's also because I think it's well known that Sean hates them and always slags them off whenever he gets a chance.
That isn't entirely true, is it? Yeah, probably is.
It's true.
Well, I listened back to it, right, after reading that comment, and Sean said this one's been reviewing really well. Well, that was pretty much his comment. Mm-hmm. I made a few cheap gags at it, and yeah, sure. I mean, Assassin's Creed is one of those rare games on this show that none of us are really pumped about. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah,
none of us really care.
I'm interested in them because I do enjoy like the whole historical thing, even though they're not, and that does interest me. It's just that there's so many of them is the problem, and they're just so big and all that kind of thing. It's just getting round to playing them. Because I remember, because always when you play one of those, it's at least sort of like 30 hours or so. and it always feels
like
it's
45 if you just want to do the campaign.
Yeah, but Jesus. It's like, but it always feels like it's 40 hours of like more of the same, if you sort of mean. And it's like,
but you haven't played one for a while, so
it's true. I mean, kind of... the last one I played was Revelations a couple of months ago, and that is the worst one apparently in the whole thing. I mean, I probably would really like
3 was the worst. Yeah.
It's just I haven't got around to it.
What I'm saying is this: it's one of those games that slip through the cracks, and I mean, it's probably not worth getting angry at us about it. To be honest with you, I mean, we hardly like lay into it, do we? Really, we don't really slag that series off, do we? I don't feel that we do.
I think because I don't think we particularly slag it off, and also in terms of things we don't get to cover just because of time and stuff, like. I'm not going to be like, right, do you know what we really need to represent and make sure gets a fair shout on the show? Assassin's Creed, because no one plays it otherwise.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? I don't feel any need to like stick up for it, I guess.
I mean, more importantly, I fully understand why it would be frustrating to listen to a show like this and they're not covering a game that you care so much about.
Yeah, because they are massive as well. Like everyone's talking about the new one.
Yeah, and
apart from us.
But I think we've got quite a broad range of games between the four of us, and that's just one that sits outside our sort of scope, really. And that must be frustrating, so I apologise for that, but I don't think any of us is prepared to step forward and fill that gap.
Yeah,
so
I enjoyed, like, let's say 5 hours played of Origins and stopped because something else came out. And if it wasn't for Red Dead, maybe I would be tempted now, but Red Dead's coming.
Well, this is it, isn't it?
I can squeeze a 45-hour game in something before then.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to say. Tom Bailey, I was pleased to hear James and David speak glowingly about the Gardens Between in last week's pod, having adored it myself and having a similar emotional experience while playing. I was interested to hear the chat about the game's price versus its length. I personally think too many people hung up on the game's length and how it affects its value for money. I'm so pleased that this game trimmed away all the fat and left us with a short but hugely memorable experience. I do wonder if his tendency to value shorter games less has contributed to the game seemingly receiving little coverage on forums and Twitter, etc. Although I guess big hitters like Forza Horizon 4, Assassin's Creed, Odyssey coming out at similar times may have more to do with it. Anyway, great hearing it gain such enthusiastic coverage alongside all the usual suspects.
I agree. I think one of the major reasons why we haven't seen much of it on various websites and forums and stuff like that is because it's the busy season has just kicked off, and it's just unfortunately the time it's been released. You know, if this had come out a couple of months ago, I think a lot more people would have spoken about it. I totally agree with you about the way that games are perceived in terms of price, and we sort of mentioned that on the show. We said, look, this is such a polished game, and you know, as James said, for the money that we've spent, or the money that he spent on that game, he didn't feel shortchanged. And it's one of those things. How do you put a price on the amount of effort that's gone into this game? Like, I mean, they've picked the price, the asking price, but we as when we're talking about this game, we have to consider, you know, people going out and spending money on it, and you are conscious of the fact that some people do put value for money into game length. So if the game's, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours long, as James said, for us to turn around and just say, get it, it's absolutely brilliant, and then they go and play it and it's an hour and a half long, they're like, well, why the fuck have you done that? So it's not a personal belief of mine. For me, if a game is I bought Gone Home, as we spoke about last time, that was, you know, highly criticised for the how long it takes to complete and how much they charged for it. And I didn't feel shortchanged at all. It's not an issue for me. If I know that the experience is worthwhile, then it's worth that money. But you've sort of got to be conscious of the fact that not everyone feels like that. And as I said on the show last week, you know, people are going to be saving their money for the big hitters over Christmas. So just whacking another £18 on someone's list is, you just got to be mindful of it. That's all. I don't necessarily agree with it, but, you know.
Yeah, it's like you say, at the end of the day, if someone's only got 20 quid to spend on games for the next month, then they've got to get something that's going to last them. So that is, and they're
the argument is, but they're going to fucking love this. Like, would you rather play? No,
absolutely. Like, I'm on the personally, I'm on the side of I prefer shorter games because I like to be able to tick things off and then take something away from them, and that's where the value for money is for me. Like I don't, I'm quite happy for games to be short. I'm just in the case of people who literally might only have that 18 quid to spend on one game for the next, however many weeks. Like that is a case you've got to consider, as you say.
Yeah, and it feels a bit dirty to just focus on the price, and that's why I wanted to move on from that, because it's kind of like, well, price is relative, and what people put, it's how people value their pounds. It's different for everybody.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, if you've got the money and you can afford this game, then you can't go wrong with it, in my opinion. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was our point, and I totally agree with the person who sent us the email there, but it's just not the way that everyone thinks. And when you're doing a podcast like this, you've got to kind of be a bit mindful, especially in that regard. I mean, not so much in, whether you like this genre or stuff like that, because I think that's all pretty clear. But when it comes to the price, I think it's something you've got to keep at the back of your mind.
Absolutely. Last bit of feedback from, oh god, I'm going to do a James here, but it's Robo Maloko on Twitter. So Matt steals cereal from a child, lies about playing games, goes behind the back of David and Sean with interface, sets up James to be ridiculed in public, and the less said about the memes, the better. Is Matt a baddie? No, I'm just misunderstood.
I thought we'd established a long time ago that Matt was like the heel of the podcast.
Oh, totally. And I'm not surprised anymore. Like, I'm not really just genuinely shocked anymore. The thing, when I heard the news about Matt knowing about that, I was kind of like, I felt bad for James, but at no point did I go, I can't believe Matt would do that.
See,
like, that didn't cross my mind.
And I also felt the same, actually. That's why, like, last week when we were talking about it on the show, I wasn't really that shocked, like, when that had happened, because, being stitched up, it was, I wasn't really surprised.
Matt is the Phil Mitchell of the podcast.
Well, I've got the same amount of hair.
Get your Photoshop out, listeners. Do what you will with that.
And there's a lot of great pictures of Phil out there. That's in feedback. It's at Computer Game Pod on Twitter, or you can email thecomputergameshow@gmail.com.
Let's see how he deals with it. It's time for the news.
It is the news. Robert Kirkman's company.
That works. It works.
How was that?
It
was that
works.
all right?
Yeah,
that works. Yeah,
that was the best one. Yeah.
I was going to go straight into it. Yeah, okay. I'll do that next time, and without you reminding me though.
No, I won't jump in next time. That's the first time it's worked ever. Okay. So you're good.
Robert Kirkman's company, Skybound Games, will finish off the final season of The Walking Dead. So
this is probably the best result for the people that have bought the game. That I was here, I think it was the Player One podcast was talking about this, and I don't know how true this is. Are they looking to hire everyone that was working on The Walking Dead in the first place?
I think they've said as many as they can or something. They've been sort of intentionally vague about it, which I understand because it's a sensitive subject. But yeah, I think this is like the happiest ending we could have reasonably hoped for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
how do you feel about it, James?
According to what we got, according to Variety, Skybound said they hope to work with members of the original Telltale team to finish it, but nothing's been finalised. But Robert Kirkman said, do you want me to read the quote, what he's got?
Yeah.
He said, "Just stay tuned. Everybody involved is trying to make sure Clementine's story is told. It's a very unfortunate situation, but hopefully we'll come out of it in some kind of positive way. I'm not concerned at the moment with having to tell the story in a comic book form, because I'm hoping that the games will eventually be completed." Yeah.
Right, okay.
Fair enough. I mean, just like relatively, if it had been like fucking, Gearbox have shown up and they're going to do it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, this, yeah. I mean, it's still shit for the staff. Because,
you were talking about last week, right? Imagine if Quantic Dream had stepped forward.
Oh my god, that would have been so good.
That would have been incredible.
David Cage.
Jesus. There's not enough emotions in this game.
Yeah.
It's what we can do with it, but yeah.
Yeah, but like also, obviously on a practical level, like that's still, the staff of so even if they rehired or tried to rehire everyone like tomorrow, that's still people who've been out of work for weeks. Like, the uncertainty of what's happening, or like it's still a fucking mess. But
oh god, no one's denying that.
But I do think this is as good as it could have gone.
I'd be just kind of, if it was me, I'd just be kind of thinking, yeah, fuck off. It's kind of thing. I'm kind of done with this.
Yeah, the staff have got the right to say that.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
But a lot of them will want to see the end of their work that they've worked so hard on for years.
Totally,
so it won't be like, well, fuck you because we've been screwed over. I'm sure that's the case, and there's obviously going to be a level of resentment and sort of anger and whatnot to what's happened over them over the last few weeks. But I think many people are like, let's just get our story told the way we wanted it to, and then we'll move on. So it's.
I guess what we're saying is that different people might act differently to one another, and that's probably what's going to happen. As you say, Sean, shit situation without a doubt. However, this is probably about as best of a result as anyone was going to get over this one. And to see that it's...
At least for consumers, it's like maybe people that have bought it will get something out of it, but I don't know.
It'd be interesting to see what you think of the result there, James, if you feel that, there was a major shift before this last episode comes out.
Did they actually get round to releasing the second episode before all this happened?
Episode 2 came out. How? So it did come out. Episode 2 came out, but it stopped after that, I believe.
Okay, I saw people saying that because normally at the end of each episode there's like, and coming up next time, but that there just isn't that either. Even with episode 2, it just stops.
Oh god, that's horrific.
Yeah.
Warning signs.
I wonder if I can still download it, or if it's been taken off the store.
Because they said the whole season and everything of Walking Dead, I believe, have been taken off these digital storefronts. So. Shit. I wonder, but you must have.
But then,
game...
if you've got the season pass, then you've already got a license to download it. You should still be able to, I think.
Yeah, I'll go. See what happens.
All right.
Next one is there's apparently new Switch hardware coming in 2019. And this is from a Wall Street Journal report, which says that there's going to be a new version according to supply chain sources. There aren't many details, but the biggest expectation is it's going to have an improved screen, as the current one uses like a low-end like LCD. And this is apparently going to come in the second half of 2019.
Not really that surprising, is it?
Not really. They iterate every time.
They always do. It's quite soon, though, isn't it? And especially considering it's doing so well. Like, surely you'd give it a few years and wait until it's flagging a bit and then give it a boost. But I don't know.
The original DS was out hardly any time, was it, before they released the Lite?
That was shit, though.
That
needed replacing soon as it. The screen. I personally, I've got no issues with the Switch screen. Am I old?
No,
I think it's more that like a new LCD would have it'd be much more energy efficient rather than like a new LED screen rather than the LCD they've currently got.
Right.
It probably wouldn't be OLED like latest phones because it would be way too expensive. But also, so I mean, I hadn't owned a Nintendo like portable since the first DS. But if this happens, will they just stop making the old Switch, or will that be reduced, or what normally happens with these like iterative updates?
They usually kind of bin the ones that have been before.
Yeah.
Although it depends, because if they release it as like another line, like in the family, if you see what I mean, because that's what they did with the 3DS. Yeah. There were so many versions of 3DS that came out in the end, where they did stick around like the old ones as well for quite a long time.
Yeah, I think they'll stick it around. They'll have an entry-level version and a more expensive one. They'll reduce the price of the one that we know and love, and I can see them keeping the old one around.
Well, they've also said, like they've said quite a few times, that their intention is that like everyone in a family will own a Switch. And it's
exactly.
And this makes sense because it's like if they release this, then you're looking at like upgrade. If I bought one of these, then I'd pass the other one on to someone else. Like in the family or whatever.
I love that.
I mean, like
James instantly thinking, if they release a new one, I'll keep that myself and give the shitty one to my son.
But that makes it a tougher sell, doesn't it? Because obviously, like if you're upgrading to a PS4 Pro or a Xbox One X or whatever, you're trading in the older one against it. Whereas the implication here is like, like if you are going to pass your old Switch on to a family member, that's like another £300 you have to find.
Well, it's a bit like people do that with mobile phones and tablets, don't they?
That's true.
They just pass stuff on, don't they? Because it's not worth the hassle of like selling or whatever sometimes.
Yeah. It's interesting because if a week ago you'd said to me like, Nintendo are going to do a new Switch, what do you think it is? I would have expected like a more of a sort of 2DS situation where it's like, obviously the Switch is doing really well, but who wants to...
Just a cheaper version.
Yeah, like who wants to trust a kid with a 280 quid bit of kit? So surely like a simplified... Like, maybe it was like a dedicated handheld that was like a bit cheaper.
Yeah, I've heard some people discuss that, and that just sounds crazy. Because
there was all that before, weren't there? Like the Switch Mini idea and all that kind of thing. But it's like, I don't think they're going to release anything that doesn't work with those Joy-Cons.
That's true. Like, but then you say that, but if someone had said, "Oh, they're going to bring out a new 3DS that isn't 3D," you'd have said they were mad, but that did well.
I don't know if it's the same thing, but like, I mean, I'm happy with my Switch, and I can't see myself buying the new one. But I think it's a good move. I think why not? If they can sell more of these things, slightly improved, then why not? I think the first thing they need to address is battery life. If they manage to sort that out a little bit more, because as much as we were saying, it's not that much of an issue that it's only 3 hours battery life or whatever. When you do go on a weekend away with your kid or whatever, it is a problem. Like it is. I've experienced it quite a few times where it's kind of like every night you've got to charge it along with everything else. It's a bit of a ball ache. Not enough for me to buy a new one, but it's one of those ones that I see eventually I might shell out if I need to replace the old one or whatever. Then having that option there is all good, in my opinion.
I've heard some people talk about the fact that because like the initial Tegra, where even when like they're shown off the Switch, like the Tegra 2 was already out, had been out for 6 months. So some people were suggesting maybe they'll just put the new Tegra 2 in it. Maybe there's the option of potentially having. So what's that?
The graphics shit.
Yeah, and also
they'll put a better
games,
graphics
maybe.
card in it.
I doubt it.
That don't sound like Nintendo.
Well, again, it might just be a case of it being more efficient rather than it being more powerful. It might just reduce battery life and stuff.
Right. Okay.
We're not going to suddenly get like a 4K one next year.
No, God,
it's just not going to happen.
HDR, 4K HDR Switch.
Yeah.
All over that. All right.
Okay, but Nintendo have also patented a playable Game Boy phone case.
I saw this and I thought, why?
Well, this is weird because this is related to a patent that they hinted at like last year when people thought there was going to be a Game Boy Classic, but then apparently now they've the US Patent Office has like published like the whole application, and it's really weird because it looks like a Game Boy like phone case, but with like operational buttons. So when you press a button on the cover, this like contacts the screen below, and then obviously works as a button press, and there's like a space in the cover for like the screen and everything. So it's like adding physical buttons to the phone. You get like those really bad like joypads that can do that, like with iPhone and like Android and stuff. It sounds like the similar kind of thing, but yeah, I mean, it's just a rumor kind of thing.
So do you think there's a possibility for Nintendo to release like a Game Boy app, but really you need this case thing to make it work best?
That's what it sounds like they'd be interested in doing, would be something like that, which I don't think
like a virtual console, but on phones.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to buy that, but I don't know.
I don't know. I think, Tetris or whatever.
But way more people will buy a classic Game Boy than, I don't know, download the app than potentially buy this phone case. That just seems like a weird...
Oh, man, could you imagine, like, seriously, though, dragging that shit around with you? Yeah. Just an empty shell with a Game Boy.
But also, consider, like, the Game Boy is not... There wasn't a lot of really... There were some really good games on it, but they have not aged well, is what I'm trying to say.
But what I'm saying is that they could have any Game Boy, like, Game Boy Advance games on there. They could have all sorts of virtual console shit on there.
Well, yeah, when you consider there are so many, like, actually really good, like, unofficial devices now where you just whack an SD card in them and they emulate loads of old systems.
Yeah. Illegal.
Yeah, it's totally illegal, but,
Yeah. But, fuck the police. This is official from Sean Bell. Okay.
Okay, so Red Dead Redemption 2's PS4 exclusive content has been revealed.
Whoa.
Now, I know that, like... Okay, so David and Matt, I know that you're both going to get this on Xbox One X, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, hold fire, because I'm going to tell you what they've got for the PS4 version, and maybe it will change your mind. So, it's timed exclusive content, and there's going to be 4 items exclusive to the PS4.
Hello.
So, you've got the Grizzlies Outlaw outfit.
Hovering over the council pre-order button. Okay, yeah.
Which is this is a long wool-lined coat over a leather vest.
Does look cool as fuck, to be fair.
There's also a red chestnut Arabian horse.
Nice.
There's an alligator skin ranch cutter saddle and a high roller double action revolver.
James, have you been paid by Sony to advertise this? It's not just like a you thing at all.
I'm just helping you to make an informed decision, Matt. And so the horse is supposedly one of the best in the game, and the pistol is the fastest firing revolver in the game. So these are all going to be exclusive for the first 30 days of the online release, and it's not entirely clear if they like appear in the offline or not. But eventually they will appear on Xbox One. I mean, what do you think? Is this going to change your mind?
Well, I mean, the first thing is that most games do this shit when they do console exclusive stuff. It's bollocks. It's all shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't do anything.
It's fascinating that like a considerable sum of money will have changed hands to make this happen.
For those 4 items, which is what's crazy. It's like, I mean, I'd love to know how much they paid for those, because...
But they can't just whack out like this has, a whole side quest string or whatever, because then people will get pissed off that are getting it on Xbox. So, I mean, this is nothing new. It's just the fact that it's Rockstar doing it.
It's like
it
even
makes the news,
like Destiny's
I mean?
always done this. That's what they've always had, like PlayStation exclusive strikes and stuff. But like, which is good, I guess. But even then, you can tell that like compared to the strikes that are in both versions, the PlayStation exclusive ones are really clearly phoned in. Like,
put it this way: one of them was a strike that you already had, but backwards.
Yeah, the Destiny stuff was mad because that took like a year or over. I think it's maybe just over a year for it to come to Xbox. And like, hey, the exclusive stuff's now on. And like, well, these guns are crap, and that isn't.
No one cares.
I don't even want to do that strike. So, like, entire year.
Yeah, because Microsoft did this with Rockstar before, though, didn't they? With Grand Theft Auto, like with Grand Theft Auto 4,
did they?
There was that. Do you remember there was that big reveal on stage? Yeah, they had like exclusive, like not for the game, but like for downloadable content. Yeah, for a bit they had, and they must have paid a load of money for that.
The reason for that is that cost $50 million, wasn't it?
Yeah, because that was like proper, like single player content, that they sort of added to it. But yeah, it's weird.
No, I'm still going to go for Xbox. I mean, I haven't obviously seen any like a Digital Foundry stuff, but I'm gonna assume that's going to be the better technically version of the game of the game.
You can wait 30 days for a whole.
The less fan noise, the better. Okay, that's the way I'm looking at this. Please don't tweet me telling me that I need thermal paste in my PlayStation 4. Thank you.
It's very odd that people do that, isn't it? It's like, all you have to do is like do this one simple procedure that if you fuck it up, it will break your PS4 and void your warranty. No biggie.
You should.
My warranty's longer.
You shouldn't put it in your cabinet, David. You should have it like on a
have it
slate or something. Yeah,
hang it outside the window.
We've done all these jokes. We've done all these jokes
again.
Right, okay, go on.
That's it. That's the end of the news.
Oh no, there's more news.
Oh yeah. There's this other stupid.
I thought you were just giving him a full snubbing. Then I thought you were just binning it off.
What is this? Oh no!
I forgot about
Matt?
this. This is the okay. So Matt wanted to do this one, and to be fair, it is reasonably big news, but it is something we already knew that they were doing. But they've just
James,
given a bit
remember
more
the
detail.
Google incident. Just be nice and read the story out.
I don't have to be nice to Matt. It's just,
he's got a point. James has got
absolutely
a point.
no reason
just
why
read the story, Nuzo.
So anyway, Mr. T-shirts. Microsoft announced Project xCloud, its cloud gaming initiative. So this is the system whereby you can stream like Xbox games to like tablets and phones and stuff, and they give them more details about it. So Matt's basically
details.
Well, no, he's just posted a press release here. I don't want to read that.
I just want to read the first point out because it makes me laugh. So, Project xCloud, state-of-the-art global game streaming technology, will offer you the freedom to play on the device you want without being locked to a particular device, empowering you, the gamers, to be at the centre of your gaming experience.
It's awful, isn't it?
It puts me, the gamer, at fucking the end of a gaming experience that's happening several hundred miles away.
Yeah, it's true.
Just the marketing
I'm
speak,
nowhere near where I'm gaming right now. Yeah, no, that's horrible. But what are the details? There's no details. That's bullshit.
Developers of the more than 3,000 games available on Xbox One today, and those building the thousands that are coming in the future, it's optimistic, will be able to deploy and dramatically scale access to their games across all devices on Project xCloud with no additional work.
Are they calling it that? Project xCloud?
No, it's clearly just like the project name for now. It's just like Google's one was like Project Stream.
Yeah. The interesting thing here is it says the test runs on devices like mobile phones and tablets paired with an Xbox wireless controller through Bluetooth. Now, what's interesting about that is, you know, that basically means this is only going to work on like Android or whatever, isn't it? They're going to cut out like the whole iOS like ecosystem because you can't pair like a Xbox controller to like an iPhone.
But if they can they not somehow make that MiFi compatible, which is like Apple's wireless protocol?
Yeah, well, if they did that, they could do it, or maybe there'll be a dongle or something. You
could pair that with a Mac. So what's saying that you can't do it with an iPhone?
It's different with iOS though. They use because it's like the made for iPhone like standard and everything they use for that.
You listen to Interface, Dave. You'd know this.
Yeah, come on, Dave.
Oh, right.
But yeah,
I'm glad I don't. I'm glad I don't.
On iOS, are they? So obviously they're going to find a way, and also because that also doesn't include the first generation like Xbox One pads, because none of them included Bluetooth, right?
Yeah, sure.
It's only more recent ones, like since the S onwards, they also include Bluetooth. But yeah, and also in the video, there's like a short video of like all the loads of directors talking about it and stuff, and they show like games like Halo being played on tablet with like a touch interface, which they say they're still working on.
That's awful. Why would you want to do that?
I don't know. Play Halo any way you want.
They're talking about so they're also going to add like this touch stuff and all that, and it's basically if you just play Xbox games anywhere. I mean, this is basically PlayStation Now, but like actually on devices that people actually own. It seems it's same thing really.
Yeah, I mean, again, we talk about this every week. Still not convinced, but still have nothing to base that on.
I'm very surprised how many big companies seem to think this is the future already.
They must know something we don't know, because there's too many companies saying that they're doing this.
I'll be honest, I imagine that I think Microsoft have got a better shot at this than Sony have, like in terms of like with the infrastructure they've got, because they've got like the Azure and all that kind of thing. They've definitely got a better shot at it.
Remember, EA are doing this as well soon.
Yeah,
like it's just mad.
Yeah, well,
everyone's doing it.
Within next year, we're going to hear like Ubisoft probably have their own streaming. They're all going to do it, aren't they?
I think what fascinates and worries me is like, are they doing this because they think it's a good idea, or because it just takes more control away from end users?
They know.
Also making more money because as we all know, like the consoles aren't really where they're making money, and often at the beginning it's a loss leader anyway. But I think they're probably making a profit now, but only a small amount. What they're making big profit on is their services, and so say, look, Xbox Live is this amount a year, Game Pass is this amount a year, Project xCloud is this amount per year. You don't have to like buy a console, which they probably get like, I don't know, they probably get a very small amount of profit.
Soon
per
enough,
machine.
it'll just be whacked onto your fucking pay slip, innit? You know what I mean? You'll have tax, Microsoft, EA. Like it's just it's too much monthly charges.
Well, that's the problem with all like these streaming services, like with entertainment, like like video.
I was going to say that's the way it's going, isn't it? Basically,
yeah. It's kind of annoying. But
they've also said this. They're going to make it stream possible on 4G and also make it work on 5G when that rolls out globally. But it's interesting that they've like told us this now. I mean, maybe do you think this was a result of the Google news that was announced like a couple of weeks ago?
Oh yeah. It must be. Like they must be reacting to that. Because obviously,
sorry,
go on.
That Google stuff. I'm going to make a bold prediction here that I don't.
Here we go. At Bet Anyone.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. Like ultimately,
it's possible. Because I was saying, wasn't I, that like Google do just shelve things if they don't think it's happening. Like, yeah.
I mean,
is anyone going against you on that, Joe? Matt, are you?
No. I fully believe that Google could just say, "No, it's not working." I mean, they just killed Google Plus. I mean, pour one out.
Was that the social media thing they did?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
well, you're not using it.
It was still going as well. It was.
I genuinely thought they canned that about 2 years ago.
No. They pivoted to they changed it slightly, but no, that's still been going.
But there was a huge data breach, and so then they just didn't tell anybody that they'd lost loads of people's data, and then they just shut the service down.
Yeah. It's all right, guys. We turned the computer off. It's safe now.
Yeah.
There's the most amount of action that Google Plus has had in years. They're like, oh, hang on, what's this? Oh no!
It's
wait.
That's how they found out they'd been hacked. Yeah. Hold on, someone's logged in.
I've got notifications saying we've had login. Oh no, shit, we've had loads. Oh bollocks!
It was funny though, when they were just desperately trying to push that as being a thing, and like just adding it to everything related to Google.
Basically, if you want to use YouTube, why don't you log in with Google Plus account? No one uses that.
Well, remember when it first launched, and they were like, "Oh, it's had like a record amount of new users." It's like, yeah, because you could just click on a button saying, "Yeah, use my Facebook details," I guess. and and you could sign up that way.
Because they attached it to anybody who had a Google account.
And a little bit of work. Like there's you had your work account, you had a personal account. So every single Gmail, as soon as you went in there, like, well, you might as well create a Google Plus profile, right? No, Google.
While we're on Google, I mentioned this on Twitter or whatever, but they're in persistence to try and get you to sign up for a free trial of YouTube Premium.
The amount of times I've said no to that.
It's just awful.
Like, learn the fact I've said no.
Constant. Is there a way of just saying, no, definitely not, please? Just stop every time I want to watch a video of UK road rage compilations. I don't want to have to say no, I don't want
So Dave, have you done the free trial of YouTube Premium?
No.
You see,
because I don't want to go anywhere near it.
See, this has been really interesting because this is getting way off video games now, but fuck it. Everyone watches YouTube, it's fine, it's relevant. So I did it was like 3-month trial of YouTube Premium, and then when it ended, I was like, fucking hell, the adverts have got worse. Like, there's now like 2 adverts in front of most videos I seem to watch, and there's adverts where it's like,
really?
Yeah, adverts where you have to answer a question before it all
I get a lot of
on.
Question ones. Yeah.
So, yeah, and then...
I get the question ones, but I've never had 2 before a video started.
Fun thing. Apparently, so I tweeted about this, and Paul Davis from Retro Asylum replied saying apparently there are reports that, like, if you've done the trial and the trial ends, it makes the adverts worse for you.
Oh my god.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
I'm also not surprised, but oh my god.
Yeah. That is very shitty. The worst part is, like, if it wasn't, because what is it? It's like £12 a month, something like that, or maybe more than that. I'd consider a monthly fee for YouTube to not have the ads and stuff, but it's like it's too much, and you're paying for YouTube Originals, which is all stuff that I just don't understand because it's sort of all very.
Yeah, I mean, the best feature.
Yeah, what is it? I saw a video today on YouTube where it was like YouTube Original for premium members only. PewDiePie gets scared at things.
It's all shit like that, and I'm just like,
I'm all right.
No, thank you.
And it was just videos of him walking about in dark areas, in that night vision stuff, screaming. And I just thought, this isn't an advert for anything.
40 million
if
views.
anything.
If they did a cheaper one that didn't include the originals and was just ad free, then I'd probably do it. But yeah, fucking hell, scummy.
I mean,
how much? You say £12 a month?
No, it might be at least that. But
right.
Yeah, because I think you might have to pay more if you want YouTube Music as well. I think there's like a bundle.
See, that's the thing, yeah, because I've never used YouTube as a music player, and I always find it really weird that people do.
Yeah, a lot of people do. I mean,
there's a lot of bootleg stuff on there that you'll never get.
Turn your screen off and still listen to YouTube. Like that's arguably the biggest feature that I would ever pay for, but I'm not going to.
How does that work on Android? Can you do that? Because on iOS, like if you're playing like say on YouTube and then you switch the screen off or go out the app, it cuts out.
If you've got premium, it carries on playing. Yeah,
carries on.
But not if you've just not with the standard though. Yeah, just.
It just cuts out. But again, that's something that the phone is more than capable of. It's just the software refuses to do it. It's £12 a month YouTube Premium. Just checked.
What I tend to do is, this is a crazy idea, but when I'm listening to some like old live stuff, like I do listen to content on YouTube and not watch it. I just put it in my pocket
and don't lock the phone
with the screen still playing. I mean, it's fine. All right, it eats up a little bit of battery, but
does it not get warm?
I mean, it's. No.
Okay.
Do you not accidentally press buttons and stuff?
Yeah, I've done it all the time.
No, because it's in my pocket. Well, how are you accidentally pressing buttons?
I don't know. I'm putting it in my pocket thinking, okay, this is good. I can get some mileage on the Pokemon Go shit. And I'm like, I can hear buttons being pressed. I'm like, for Christ's sake.
Is your pockets made of skin?
They're made of fingers.
Moist pockets.
Finger pockets, yeah.
It's like a kangaroo. He's got a little pouchy.
Yeah,
stuffs it in.
A little Joey in there pressing buttons.
Right, okay, come on, let's get on to what you've been playing.
We should probably talk about games.
I will start off with a little story. I streamed Shenmue twice this week, and my word, if you've been watching my streams, you will know how horrific the experience has been for, say, 3 weeks now. I think I started my forklift driver's job, maybe not 3 weeks ago, but it was before the live show, because you were down there, James, watching me do it.
You were well into the forklift stuff. You were all like going on about how you were a working class man and this was perfect for you and everything. And now you're turning your nose up at it.
But 6 or 7 days worth of doing that forklift job and the story not advancing at all was just getting horrific. So what would happen? I'd spend the morning doing a forklift job. I get an hour and a half lunch or whatever it is, 2 hours lunch. I just walk about the warehouse talking to everyone, hearing the same dialogue over and over again, getting more and more frustrated. People in the chat are going, try this, go warehouse 18 at this time. I go there, nothing happens. I'm getting more and more irritated. Next day, exactly the same thing happens again. And there was some weird shit as well. Like, they were saying, talk to your co-workers. And one of the guys would keep saying, I heard what you did for Mark yesterday. That was really cool. Oh, it was nothing. And I was like, that was a week ago. Why are you saying yesterday? Oh, it's an old game. I'll give it a pass. Turns out I've hit a bug that repeats the same day over and over and over again. It's like Groundhog Day up in this bitch. Like, it's fucking insane. So I've done... Apparently, you're supposed to do about 6 days working, and the story progresses every day. Instead, I've done day 2 6 times. So now I've got to, next time I stream, I've been told what to do to get out of this loop. But I've still got to do like another 5 days working to get to the end of the story bit. Awful. I don't know if this was a known bug from the original game or not, or if it's just come about since the HD re-release, but my word, am I absolutely furious at the fact that I've wasted so many hours of my life just doing the same bit over and over again and not realising it. So what I'm saying is my next stream, we should be advancing and we should be getting back to the good stuff, okay? Stick with me, we'll be back, and I'm looking forward to it, because it's really sad actually, because I was really, really enjoying it up until this point, and it turns out it was just a massive bug. So good. Thanks to Shy Smile for finding that out for me. Because in
the next stream, you're about to get through enough days to get back to where you need to get to. Is that the deal?
Well, no. In the next stream, I will definitely advance the story to the point where I go to at least day 3 of work.
Crazy. Which
means that I can just continue the story and do the bits and pieces from there. But I'll work it out. Shy Spell's got a plan for me. I'm going to follow that plan. We'll get through it. And then, because I'm so ready for fucking Shenmue 2 as well now, because I'm just sick of this one at the moment, at this point. So, shame that a bug has nearly destroyed my enjoyment of that game, but hopefully I'll be back to it. The only other game I've been playing this week is, who else has been playing Forza Horizon 4?
Yeah, I have also been playing it.
Not you, James?
I've not, no.
I'm surprised.
To move my Xbox. Go on.
Oh, for fuck.
Get PC, mate. Why is that funny?
Good, isn't it?
It is, because that's never going to happen.
Get a Dell.
Yeah, one of them Inspirons.
It's good, isn't it? It's good.
It is a good game.
It's fucking
great.
It's really good. I was saying to the boys last night, they were asking me about it, and they were saying, what's it like? And I said that at this point, it feels like, imagine if FIFA was genuinely an incredible game of football. Now, FIFA's got its flaws or whatever. Imagine a flawless FIFA. Because at this point, you'd be saying, it's just taking the piss now. It's just adding stuff that it doesn't need, but it's still fun every year. Like, this is every 2 years, but every time a new Forza game comes out, it just adds shit on top of, like, essentially, it is just Forza Horizon. You're doing the races, you're travelling around, you're smashing boards, you're raising your level to do wheel spins and stuff like that. But now it's just chucking shit in there for literally no reason. Fuck it, let's just have a stuntman storyline. Why? Because we can. You know what I mean? It's so slick at what it does, and so much fun to play. I've even got to the point where I've knocked it up a few difficulty settings because I played the last 2 Forza Horizon games on just default throughout the whole thing, and it does that thing where it says, look, you're pissing all over this, do you want to raise the difficulty? And I'm like, nah, I'm alright. So I've raised it a couple of notches this time, and the racing's just brilliant. Like, you know what I mean?
I got a notification game saying, it looks like you've been winning too easily, you should probably knock it up. So I did change after that. I think I was in the first or second season change.
Yeah. And it's just such an improvement over the racing as well, isn't it? I'm not winning every race now, which means that I'm properly focused when I'm driving about.
Yeah, and the game doesn't bollock you for not winning constantly either. It's just like, you came 4th out of 12 people, that's pretty good. That's it.
Yeah, and it gives you like a little credits boost and stuff when you do that. You know, the stuff that it does. That it doesn't need to do. I mean, that's the main focus of this one. The stuff that it does that it doesn't need to do, that still makes it like, that just adds to the enjoyment, is unbelievable. Right down to the point where, have you seen any of those landmarks yet?
Oh, no. You mean the beauty spots where you take pictures?
Yeah, the beauty spots. So they were introduced in Forza Horizon 3, I think. I don't think they were in 2. I could be wrong. But what they are is they're sort of just, you know, a gentle nod to the setting that they're set in, right? And obviously this one, you drive past landmarks, you press X, and it gives you a zoomed out view of this sort of area and gives you a bit of a background in its own way of saying this is why this is here, and
nice.
You know, this is why it's important in this area and stuff like that. And it did it in Forza Horizon 3, and it just showed you, you know, just a shot of that area. Now someone come up with the incredible idea of, okay, let's do that again, but this time let's just put the character that the players have created in the middle of the fucking scenery. Right? And because when you create a character, you're like adding dances and stuff to it, there's nothing funnier than seeing that big white horse thing on the building and seeing like a small dot that's my character in the middle of it, just doing a dab in the middle of it. I was belly laughing when I saw that, just properly belly laughing. I just thought, whoever did that is a genius. Whoever suggested that, fucking right, he should be famous, or she should be famous, because it's just fucking hilarious to watch. And then there's like this whole, you know, speaking of the character creation stuff. So you pick your driver, you pick what they wear, you pick, you know, everything about this person apart from how they look. There's sort of preset character models or whatever. You don't need this in a racing game. It's not needed, right? But we've just had so much fun just unlocking like gold leggings and putting them on this person and, you know, making them look as big of a bell end as possible. It's just fun throughout the whole thing. And I mean, you could pick things apart, you know, like the classic video game story that you could laugh at. You're literally just a guy that's turned up at a festival. No one knows who you are, yet they give you a car, a house, and they fix up broken down cars for you for no money whatsoever. Just give you the final product because you found it first. It's the driving is wonderful. It's a beautiful game to play. I mean, Forza Horizon is an incredible series that doesn't quite get, although it gets an immense amount of praise, you know, we all know that, but it never goes down as like these legendary games that it deserves to, because it's so far ahead of anything else in its class. And it just constantly, every time a new one of these games comes out, it takes the total piss out of how good it is. It just takes the piss. The other big improvement this year is the progression system. It's way better than it's ever been in Forza Horizon. Forza Horizon 3, I didn't like the progression system as much as 2. That was the one where you had to unlock the festival locations individually, then level them up to unlock more races. This time it does a wonderful thing of, hey, you level up and by just doing stuff. You don't have to do specific stuff, you just do stuff. And if you prefer the road racing or the street racing or the off-road racing, you can just focus on that stuff and you level those bits up. You also level your cars up individually, which is screwing me up a little bit because I swap cars so often that at the moment I'm really saving up my perk points, but apparently you won't really need to do that. You can level up all your cars without a problem. It's just they've refined it to the point where it's mind-blowing, where everything you do is fun. Every place you go in the game looks beautiful, and there's barely any negative you can say about it at this point. Yeah. In my opinion, it just blows me away.
Have you got to? You must have got to. Have you got the live season yet? Because I still haven't gone for a full calendar year, and then it unlocks.
No, where are you up to?
I think I've only done like I've basically gone through 2 seasons, so I haven't finished the first year yet. And when you finish the first year, that's then when everyone globally is locked on the same season. So it'd be like winter for everyone, and then they last a week and they switch and everyone's on the same one, and there's various challenges and stuff. I haven't got to that stuff
so
yet.
I'm on spring at the moment. So I've done.
Yeah, so it starts in like autumn or winter, doesn't it? Yeah, so
no, it starts on autumn, then winter, and I'm on spring. I'm near the end of spring. I think.
Apparently when you finish that first year, it's like Destiny levels of like, oh shit, now the game starts.
Yeah,
like it's.
See, I'm waiting for this as well because this is it. Because there's a few things. As much as I've been enjoying it, there's a few claims that they were making before the game came out that I'm just not seeing in this game. Like, for example, that was one of them. Everyone's on the same season, and I was like, well, no, because this is like doesn't seem like it's just changing every other day. So I'm not quite sure that's true, but obviously that's the reason.
Yeah.
Also, this always online stuff that they were touting about how everyone you'll see will be another driver and stuff like that.
It's not true.
I hope.
That's stuff that happens when you hit the year mark. Then suddenly everyone is a real player versus just like the avatars.
I thought so because
as it is now.
At the moment it is online, and I am seeing other players or whatever, but you barely see them. You know what I mean? Like their name will flash up in the distance, and it's kind of like, okay, what's going on here? But yeah, I was thinking, I knew like soon. Quite quickly, I worked out that it made you play for a year before you were fully, involved with all this stuff. So yeah, I sort of guessed that maybe all that stuff was like they've held that back until you finish your first year, and then it all comes into play.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how much it changes, because right now it feels like another Forza game, which is great, and I've had amazing fun, and it's really refined, as you said, Dave. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how different it feels, or what other things happen once I've done the full year.
One thing I will say is that I've mentioned it a few times on the podcast, but I listened to Giant Bomb. One thing I will never understand, and they always say this about Forza Horizon, they always put down the showcase races, the showcase events. Right. They say, and like their point is, and it's true, you can't argue with it, they're sort of forced races that they're not really races.
A little bit scripted.
You know what I mean? There's rubber
really
banding. There's a lot of scripting.
How good you are at the game, as such. It's just
No, it's just
a roller coaster, basically.
But my point is, fucking hell, are you kidding? You're like, who cares? Yeah. Who cares when it looks that incredible? Have you done the hovercraft?
Yes.
Yeah, I've done that one.
I mean, it's right at the beginning, a total piss take, like a total joke. It looks ridiculous. This massive hovercraft just bumbling about, smashing into things and bits flying everywhere. It's wonderful. Like in Forza Horizon 3, my favourite one they've ever done, and it's not been topped yet, was the U versus 100 hot air balloons. It just looked insane. I mean, obviously it was a joke of a race because they were going at like half a mile an hour and you're screaming towards the finish line. But seeing that many hot air balloons in the sky as you're driving along with the sort of classical music behind it was just wonderful. I've done 3 showcase events in this, and one of the big disappointments is one of them is literally a bit from the beginning of the game and the demo, which was a bit frustrating. I was kind of like, I've done this to everything about it was exactly the same as the beginning bit. They've never done that before. Now that was a little bit disappointing, but no, I mean the hovercraft one was insane. The train one I didn't like as much, but it was still pretty good. So I'm dying to see what the other ones are.
I've really enjoyed the Stuntman ones. I think they've been enjoying them. Yeah. The one where you're in that,
Stuntman's great.
The one that the first one when you're in that supercar and you have to jump and stuff across the field. But the second one, the one I did, is where you it's sort of it's been raining, and you're in that sort of silver old car, and there's like barely any grip, and you're obviously trying to get there without getting any damage. And it's just brilliant because the lighting in this game is absolutely stunning. And especially in like say rainy conditions, or it has rained but then the sun's come out. And especially with like the silver car reflecting all the landscape around you, the game looked absolutely stunning in those sorts of conditions.
Yeah, and I mean, they're also improving with their radio stuff as well. I really hope they go another level with that because, at the moment, I mean, I love the radio stuff in this. Like, it works, but I don't think there's quite enough tunes on each station, and the DJs don't exactly go for it properly. You know, they're just below that sort of threshold of being a little bit irritating. But yeah, I mean, all of the negatives we can say about this game are so minor in comparison to the rest of like how incredible it is. It's just, fuck me, man. I'm going to be playing this for a long time, which is a worry because it's going to cost me £8 a month. But you know, worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to
radio
think.
Station, sorry, Sean, but it feels like radio stations that they're like every other, well, over a period of time, it says, okay, we've added more stations, we've added more songs, so hopefully they do get better as the game progresses.
Has it done that?
Yeah.
I've got a notification
or saying on, with Anne or whatever, someone saying, oh yeah, here's new stations.
Yeah, get a classical one on.
Oh, cool.
No, okay. So get a classical one on to Belter.
Yeah, not for me. No, if you remember last time, they didn't do this this time, but last time it was Groove, wasn't it? If you could like get a free month of Groove and then have that as a radio station. Obviously, not doing that this time.
You can't import your own songs either this time. So.
Yeah, sure. Oh, and of course, the only other minor irritation is every time I boot it up, there's a new advert before I can get into the game. So buy this pack. It's like, oh no, just don't do that. They've always been bad with that, and you'll notice that when the DLC comes out, because like literally with Forza Horizon 3, I turned the game on and there was a trailer for the DLC before I got into the game. I got into the game and everyone on the radio was talking about the DLC.
And a massive part of the menu
you load up the map
well.
And there's a huge, great big icon saying DLC, go and buy now. But I was like, oh, come on. But yeah, no, I mean, fuck it, I don't care. The Forza Horizon is an incredible series, and for me, Forza Horizon 4 is the best they've done. In terms of visuals, in terms of gameplay, in terms of everything. I was so surprised at how quickly it spits cars out at you.
Yeah, and I love.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's properly like, here's a new car.
I love how easy it is with like what car you use as well. Because like for the most part, like if you want to do most of the game in some absolute fucking shitbox, you pretty much can. Like the game doesn't really seem to mind. Like if you're driving like a D-class car, like most races, you'd be like, all right, well all your opponents are D-class cars then. Like it doesn't really give a shit, does it?
Yeah, I definitely found it harder. No. I got moved into. I think it was like a Skyline, but it wasn't that. But it's a car like that, sort of like a long ass Japanese like four. I think it's like rear wheel drive car, whatever. Yeah. And I now had to rally course, and I found it much harder. So then I did it in that because I don't think I could change car at that point. But then after I quickly switched back to like the Focus or something.
Yeah.
So I think if we changed it slightly, but yeah, you're right. You can do it with everyone. I also love the fact you can change cars now wherever you are. You don't have to go back to your house or the festival. Yeah. You can do it wherever you want.
And I love the fact that this was probably always a thing.
Whoa, slow down. How do you do that?
Go to the menu and you can switch cars.
Oh my god!
Have you been driving back to the festival or your house or whatever?
Well, Harry has. I mean, Harry's ridiculous. I mean, he's totally ridiculous. He was like this on the last game as well, where he would spend hours picking a car and then go, like, literally drive out and say, I want to change it now. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't know that was in the menu, but that really does save me a lot of fucking about.
Sorry, Sean.
I forgot what I was going to say, but I will add, the other week I was sort of half joking about how, like, driving through Ambleside and it was nothing like actual Ambleside. Like, playing the full game, like, it has just clicked. Like, it's a theme park. It's a fucking theme park. Like, not literally, but the way it's just sort of bits of, like, places that you might recognise if you've been there, all sort of smushed together. Like, yeah, it is just...
Banjo Land in nuts and bolts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and it totally works.
You're
like
totally right.
You can drive to Edinburgh and be like, oh yeah, I remember that from when I was in Edinburgh, and it looks like that place in Edinburgh. And yeah, it's fine. It's enough. It's not supposed to be. You're not supposed to drive around and be like, oh well, that's where the John Lewis is, but it doesn't look exactly like it is in real life. Fucking no, it doesn't matter.
I found it a bit inconsistent. Now I don't know much of the area that it's representing. The roads, I don't recognise as British roads for the most part. there was one bit where I was coming up to like a dual carriageway roundabout, and I was like, holy fuck, this really does feel like a British dual carriageway roundabout. Oh god, that's the most Alan Partridge thing I've ever said, but it's true. So that sort of clicked with me. But what about the rest of the road, Sean? So you know the area better than I do. Does it?
So as I say, Ambleside is the one I recognise the most. But yeah, the roads sort of in and out of it are nothing. Like even the lay of the land in general doesn't really ring any bells with me.
There's far too many trees really close to the fucking roads for me. You know what I mean?
The signage is pretty good. I was very impressed that the Horizon Festival's got sufficient status to get the old brown signs. They're not easy to get. Are
they not?
No, they're really hard to get, brown signs. And yeah, all the speed signs and stuff, all sort of, they're all pretty accurate, I think. But yeah, I mean, that's, who gives a shit?
Exactly. Who gives a shit? When a game's this fun, who really gives a shit?
How's it working on your PC, Sean? Is it?
It's fine, mate. I'm relieved to report. Yeah, it's like I say, I had sort of issues with the demo, but no, the demo improved, and yeah, the full game seems to be the same. It is just pretty flawless so far.
And with Game Pass, is it the full Game Pass, or can you play every single game, or how's it working?
Well, yeah, because I signed up for Game Pass like mainly for this. Like I'm not feeling shortchanged because if I play this for 2 months, it's cost me £16. That's absolutely fine by me. Yeah, but I was like, right, let's see what else I can play on PC with Game Pass. Gears of War 4, I think. I think that's about it.
Oh, really?
I thought like one of the, or some of the recent Halos or the Master Chief Collection or something would PC as well, but apparently not. So yeah, that's a shame. But as I say, I mean, literally just paying for this is still good value for money. So whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The plan is to get in November buy 3 months worth because it's what on CD Keys you could get 3 months for £20.
Yeah, it's not much.
So it's like, yeah, I'm probably going to do that because there's no way I'm going to be done with it. You know what I'm like with Forza games, Matt. I play them to death. So no doubt I'll be playing this for many months.
Okay, I'm paying maybe like. On if you get some deals, you might be on average like £5-6 a month. You might at some point you're like, okay, I've paid £15. It's now down to 20 in the store, in the shop. Mate, there's like a crossover where you think, okay, I'm just going to buy the game now. I wonder when that's going to come.
I mean, you could say that, but then there are other games on the service that I'm sure I'll have a look at. So. I've not played Abzu before, and I've always had that on the sort of pile of shame.
There's lots on there. I guess the next big one will be like Crackdown 3, but I'm not sure when that's slated for in 2019 or 2020.
Or 2020, yeah. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, very, very good. And yeah, I mean, what else can you say?
It's like comfort food. It's just you feel nice playing it. The weather's often nice, and even if it's not nice, it looks nice, and it's just fun as fuck to play. It's just a nice chill out game.
The problem is saying stuff like that kind of downplays it a little bit. It's one of the best racing games of all time.
Yeah,
I mean that
it's
as
one
well,
of the best racing games of all time.
It makes you feel nice.
It's like I always say about Destiny, and I'm surprised how much I feel like comparing this to Destiny. Is that? I don't know. Does anyone else feel that?
No, that's definitely weird.
Okay, yeah. But like, yeah, it's that sort of favourite pair of trainers feeling. That is, yeah, as you say, it's easy to make it sound like, oh yeah, it's like it's just fine and nice, but it's like, no, that's really hard to get right, though. That's like, that is a feat in and of itself. To just get that weird sort of comfort to it.
You can easily lose hours to it, not because it's got some like incredible gameplay mechanic, or because it's like trying to make you grind things out, or it's got some horrible addictive quality. It's just nice. You just want to be in that world.
Yeah.
It's not like they're just sitting back on it either. They're just adding shit. Fine, we can now. We just add shit. Fine, let's do it. Let's go. Let's make all the characters like the drivers customizable. Why? Because why not? Fucking hell. We've nailed the gameplay, so we got that down. Let's just fuck around with everything else. Works. Brilliant. James, you got to play this. You really do.
I might do.
We should do a co-op stream. There's loads of co-op stuff now, right? I've not even delved into this yet, but
every time I go into a race, it asks me if I want to do it in co-op, but I don't know what that means.
Well, let's find out live on the internet with people watching.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, come on, James, it'll be fun. I mean, especially once we're all going for the first year, I'm sure there's loads of other stuff we can do on it.
Yeah.
Snow juiced.
There you go.
Whee! There we go.
Update the website, I think.
Okay. So that's what I've been playing. Matt, you're a little bit backed up.
Yeah, I played tons. Obviously, I wasn't here last week. So the 1 week I've actually been finishing games. Although I haven't said that, I've done that a lot recently. So I won't spend a lot of time. I obviously played Life is Strange 2.
Yes.
I loved it. Hopefully we're going to do a spoiler cast in the next week.
I am fucking so excited about doing that, man.
Yeah. I mean,
Did you take notes, Sean?
I didn't. I do now. Wish I had.
Oh my god! I've written hundreds of words.
Yeah, same here. Sean, I don't think it's going to be a problem because I think, I mean, I've pretty much got every decision that you make in the game written down.
Okay.
So
well, I didn't
we
just
should be
stop
able
at
to
that.
cover
I obviously wrote down decisions, but I wrote down like, okay, what happened at each point, what I was feeling, what. Yeah. It was.
Yeah, that's all part of it. I'm looking forward to our spoiler cast.
Yeah.
We'll try and record that later in the week and get that out. Well, whenever we can.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I loved it. But it did the same. I mean, maybe you won't all be happy to hear this, but did the same thing as Detroit. It's like child in peril again, and I was like, not child in peril again. And this really got me emotionally just because of that. Again, it's just like stress is probably the wrong word, but. Yeah,
I know what you mean.
I think I went to. Okay, right. So, I just like
you can't compare the two. You can't
as long as you say that this is way better,
James. Just like I compare that to the road or anything else. Anyway, so in the game, like there's a moment basically where essentially your characters go to sleep. That's not a major spoiler. It just happened. And even after that, I felt like, okay, I feel a little bit better now. You know, it's like a new day, and I was just highly stressed actually for most of that playthrough. But I did absolutely love it, and I can't wait to see what happens in episode 2.
I should point out, Sean, one of the comments we made last week about how it was a bit, I don't know, cartoonish for one of the characters to say, "Oh, we're going to build a wall."
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? A bit roll your eyes at. I didn't realise that it was set during shortly before the election.
Yeah, set in 2016.
So that makes a lot more sense. So
because also a lot of the comments,
was a little detail that
also a lot of the comments about the boys that also plays into that whole sort of mindset at the time, and I thought that was really well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that comment. For the next one, I finished Spider-Man, which I really, really enjoyed. Definitely up there, one of my favourite games of the year. I thought the story was really, really well done throughout. And again, I've said this before on the show, but I'm not into Marvel stuff at all. I couldn't really. I've never really engaged with that sort of stuff. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really, really fantastic finale. Even towards the end, I wasn't a massive fan of the combat. It felt pretty. I mean, it was fine, and it got better as I was unlocking way more abilities and chain together moves, and also there's like these gadgets you can unlock and level up, and it was getting better. Mostly because a lot of the things you do when you level them up is that they take a lot of the sort of annoying button presses out of it, so you can do like these finishing moves on basic enemies straight away. So basically, as you unlock more of the gadgets and the combat, it basically makes it easier. Not that I was finding it difficult, I just wasn't really finding it very satisfying. But even so, I got through the end, and I thought it was a fantastic game. Again, like the feeling of swinging around the city is brilliant. I did way more collectibles than I've ever wanted to do in any other game ever. And even after finishing it, I kept playing it and playing it and playing it again. I just thought it was brilliant. So I definitely recommend that. I think you guys need to play this game. I think it's just. I think it's definitely up there, the game of the year conversation. But none of you are fussed, are you?
I want to play it. It's just money, isn't it? It's
it
so
is.
can't afford to, and there's also a lot of things coming out at the moment, which, there's not a lot of time.
Yeah. This actually made me want to watch the Spider-Man movie. I
don't do that.
Well, no, I wanted to watch Homecoming, but it wasn't actually on like Netflix, and I couldn't pay like 15 quid because you can't rent movies anymore. It would seem it's like 15 quid to buy it, or that's it. Anyway, regardless. Yeah. So, but I wanted to watch something with Spider-Man in because suddenly it's like done something to my brain, and we watched. Oh god, I don't know the name of it. That's how much I don't care. But it's one of the most recent. It was a Captain America: Winter Soldier. I think that's the one. No, the one after that.
Oh, it's Civil War.
Yeah, Civil War because
that
Spider-Man
in that.
And like. I don't know what it's done something to my brain, and now I'm like, oh, okay, I like Spider-Man because the game is so good. And so it's a bit like, if you have a dream, and in that dream you're either like going out with, or you fancy, or you have like a naughty dream about someone who previously, or maybe a celebrity, maybe you didn't really care about them before, but suddenly you have that dream and you wake up thinking, yeah, actually, maybe I do like that. It's a bit like that. Like, I played this game, so I'm like, maybe I do like Spider-Man.
I cannot relate to any of this, Matt. I'll be honest with you.
What? Have you never had a dream about a celebrity
that has never happened to me, Matt.
That's like your brain's rewired itself while you were asleep.
Yeah, you never had a dream about a celebrity who you thought, I'm not really fussed, and suddenly you have a dream, and suddenly you're in like a romantic moment with them, or you're going out. So the next day you're like, oh, hang on, maybe I do like...
No, Matt, that has never happened, Matt.
What happens in these romantic moments?
No, often like nothing happens. Maybe you're just going out and like literally nothing happens in a dream. You wake up, you're like, oh yeah, I have always liked, and I'm trying to think of like a celebrity, but I can't. Has that happened to you, Sean?
No, sorry.
Oh my God, I thought it was like a really common thing.
Matt, yeah, you are.
Well, listeners, please email us.
You're walking OK magazine.
It's really interesting, Matt.
I don't know, maybe like once a month, and it's hard to say.
Once a month?
Who? You can't think of once a month. So you've had one in the last month.
I can't remember the last time I had one, but I've had a few.
Well, that's bullshit.
No, I mean, who in the past? No, I can't think. But basically, this. Okay, so it basically is a celebrity that I can't think of one specifically, but generally it's one that I've never really thought about, or thought maybe it's attractive, or wasn't even on my radar.
You have a dream that you're just.
So what are you doing? Are you
hanging out with them?
You're not hanging out in a pub and stuff like that?
Often it could be like, maybe we're in inverted commas going out. It's never like a sexy dream. Maybe we're just together in like some an event. I don't know. And then the next day you're like,
okay, all right, so let's get that.
Like
that's
EGX
fine. That's fine.
No, not EGX.
That's not.
It's in their dreams.
That's not the bit that's weird.
What's that, Dave?
That's not the bit that's not the bit of weird, right? So you've had a dream that you've been hanging out with a celebrity, right? So then what you do, you wake up and then say, oh, I like them.
No, you wake up and because you just like come out of a dream and maybe you're like romantically involved. The second you wake up,
like at the end of the day, like if your brain's just put you through this whole experience where like you've been getting like endorphins or whatever because of like even though it's an invented situation. I suppose that could be like a residual.
Booting people in the face with a football as I'm walking down Sutton High Street, Sean. It means nothing.
No, it doesn't have to mean anything. But if you've got like a residual, like your brain chemistry's gone a bit weird because of what you've been dreaming about, like you can wake up from a nightmare and still be scared and be like, "Oh fucking hell, that was horrible." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember once.
Yeah, but how long does this last? How long does this euphoria last?
Like the me liking the celebrity, probably like an hour or something, and I'm like, oh, no. I remember once I had a dream where I lost a video, a camera, like a video camera, and I woke up feeling really nervous. I'm like, oh my God, I can't. Oh no, wait, it's a dream.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, anxiety dreams. Yeah,
everyone's
sure.
had that. Yeah,
but like not. It's okay.
I thought it was really common.
It's weird.
But
I did when I was a kid. I could not swim, and then I had a dream where I was swimming, and then I could swim.
Shit, that is amazing.
Yeah. Which I figured because like your brain just sort of rehearses things while you're asleep. So I figured it was just like a later.
I do not believe that at all.
Okay.
No, that is the sort of story.
Who can prove either way?
That's an episode of something you watched on telly when you were a kid and you've mashed it into your own life.
One last question, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, this goes on for about an hour after you've woken up.
So for this hour, are you? Yeah, there's certainly like when I wake up,
walking around. Are you like walking around being like, she is my girlfriend in my mind?
Obviously not. I'm just like, I never thought that person was attractive, and now I think she's attractive.
And you think,
and then it just stops. What, like an hour later you go...
No, it just wears off, because I guess like the sort of hangover from the dream is gone, and it's just not there anymore. I wish I could think of like an example, because I've had it numerous times.
I'm sure you can, you're just too embarrassed.
As if, James, I'll say anything on this podcast. I really can't...
I'm going to say I think we are going to get tweets from people saying this is a thing. I don't think it's so weird that it's like Matt's insane or anything. I think it's just...
Well, even if it is, that's what happens. I can't deny that. Yeah, I wish I had an example, but...
I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like he's made this up to sound cool, is it?
No, it's hardly helping. It's hardly helping.
Matt would not make up dreaming about Anne Whitcomb and then fancying her for an hour.
I wish I had an example, because then at least I could tell you the dream, but I don't have that. Anyway.
Okay.
If I have one soon, I'll let you know. But I probably won't have one. Last night I had a dream that cows are going to kill me. It was fucking weird. Like a cow was literally on, like, push me off a cliff, and then my friends. It was weird. Anyway, whatever.
You turn on CBeebies and there's like some one of those like vet programs with a cow in it or whatever, and you just start shitting on the floor.
Possibly. I'm a bit worried about cows now, generally, because
how would the cow
they were really trying to push
you?
me off this cliff. They got me on top of this like tree, which
push
is
you off the
cliff. They've got you on top of a cliff. How did they get you there?
I was with loads of my friends I've recently been to a wedding with, and then suddenly I was like in a tree, and like one of my mates, Andy, like ran through this like herd of cows. I tried to do it, but they like pushed me. It felt a bit like a game at that point, but regardless, they pushed me, and suddenly I was near the edge of the cliff and like hanging onto a tree branch, and I was like, "Oh my god, Andy!" And then basically I woke up.
And Matt's going to go to a farm soon, and a cow's just going to look at him and go,
But the thing is, but my first reaction will be, "Do you not remember that dream, Matt?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do remember that dream, Matt." And I'll be worried.
What? You're just talking to yourself?
Probably in my head, yeah, definitely.
Right, okay, this is
regardless, right? Spider-Man, you guys have got to play it. I think it's absolutely brilliant fun. I love the story. Again, don't really care Marvel.
After that rant, I'll do anything you say. Yeah, I'll play Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man's fantastic. Also, James and I are both playing...
Matt, sorry, just one more question on the dreams. Have you ever dreamt about me?
You've probably been in my dreams, yeah, sure. I can't remember.
Doing what? Like, am I just normal in your dreams? Or
nightmares, surely.
No, we're kissing for like an hour, and then I woke up and it was weird. No, I'm sure you've been in my dreams. All my friends have been in my dreams. I just can't remember what happens, mostly.
Yeah. Oh god, we need to do a Dreamcast.
A Dreamcast. Yeah,
which is the title of the show.
Writing them down because they're mostly really fucking weird.
Okay.
But I hope I'm not the only one. Even if I am, who cares? Whatever. But if you are listening to this and that happens to you,
Matt,
please
don't try connect with
If you are affected by any of the issues that you hear in this podcast this week,
help.
What else you been playing, Matt?
James and I have both been playing Astro Mission Mission on PSVR.
I've been hearing very lovely things about this.
Oh god, it is.
This, can I say what I want to say about this? Because I'm so excited about this game. This has come out of nowhere for me, and this is easily the best game that I've ever played on the PSVR, and it's on my Game of the Year list already. Because it's fucking brilliant. It's so good. You've been into it as well, haven't you, Matt?
Yeah, I obviously have loved PSVR, but the last few months I've sort of dropped off. I've known about that Firewall 0 Hour game, which is like Rainbow Six, but I only heard that because some of the YouTubers I follow were talking about it. But apart from that, I haven't really been, on the Reddit every day. I haven't really known, and this basically came from nowhere, and I basically saw some reviews and I thought, whoa, hang on, this is sounding good. And then I looked into it and I was like, it's like that demo we played on PlayStation Worlds. On Playroom VR, which is a free thing you can download and store, where we all played on launch weekend, where it's basically like a 3D platformer in PSVR. I saw some reviews, and I played it.
If you remember, it was one of the highlights as well, because we all played it, and we all said it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I played this, and oh my god, it's amazing. It's amazing.
What it is, okay, it's not like Mario level good, like obviously, but it's really close actually. Because it's got the same like sort of level of inventiveness that you get from like a Nintendo game, pretty much, where they like every stage pretty much like introduces like new things to do that often it's just for that stage and then they bin it, but then it's just so well executed. Like everything is just so well done, and it's. In the beginning, I was a bit concerned it was going to be a bit too easy, but then even that like starts to ramp up. And
yeah, I did a third planet for the third world today, and the boss at the end, and the boss took me multiple goes to do, which is the first time in this game I've had to like keep restarting to try it. But yeah, it's a 3D platformer. And like other games, you're the camera in the world, but unlike, say, other 3D platformers, you have like a physical presence in the world. You're this other robot, and so you, as the Astrobot character that you're controlling moves through the world, you basically move to fixed locations. And so when you get to this new location, after like maybe Astrobot's done the area that you're around, you then stay there, but you can look around. You can do all the usual things you can do in VR, but So it's not quite like a standard 3D platform, and the camera follows you everywhere. It's sort of locked into place at various locations. I felt that felt a bit strange at first. Did that feel strange for you, James?
Yeah, I mean, because they do that, I think that's to try and stop the sickness feeling, isn't it? Because when you first start moving forward and the camera starts moving, you get the usual feeling of like, oh, what's going on here? But then, like, what they do is those bits are really short, and then most areas are sort of like just static. And then you just like move around in them. But it's weird because the only thing that I found that was a bit annoying sometimes is you can actually lose the character. Like, it's possible. Have you done that at all, Matt?
Well, yeah. But each level, which is basically like it's not like a full like a roaming platform where you basically have like little sections in basically what's like a giant sort of straight line essentially. As the character moves forward, the camera moves forward, then stays there as you do the area around you. But and I did lose the character at points, but then those are the points you basically got like bend round or look above or look below. To like there is also an icon to show where the character is, because basically as your physical presence in the world, like you there's one part of this level basically where you open this block and then suddenly this like huge like beanstalk basically explodes in front of you, and loads like leaves stuff basically engulf you, and the character can jump on these platforms around your head, so you're like looking around up and down and whatnot, so you very much are part of the level. And also within each level, there's these 8 astrobots which are hidden. I mean, they're often not that hidden, but some take a bit more finding. You can also hear where these things are like they're crying out, so you can use like 3D audio to try and pinpoint where they are. But some of them actually require you to look, maybe stand up or bend over or look to left and right. Sometimes platforms or things in the actual level might be blocking where you can find this little like astrobot. So I love the fact that it does need you to look around. And I'm on the 3rd world, and there's basically like 4 levels and a boss for each world. And I think there's 5 worlds in total. And I've just done the 3rd one just before we podcasted. And on that one, there's a couple of like really, really well hidden ones. And I was really like looking around everywhere, because you might hear the voice of this little thing, but you can't quite see it. And I think that integrates the 3D and VR really, really well.
I mean, and that's the thing, because when we played Moss before, which I thought was really good. But it also felt like a game that could quite easily have not been in VR, and it would have still have been good. It still would have been fine. But this game,
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, but this, I mean, the VR really does add to it. Like the fact that you can like get up, look around, and sort of like peer around corners and stuff like that, and see where the character's going. But then also the level of interactivity, like Matt said, like you have the presence in the world, so you like. Things will attack you as well, and you can like dodge them. Like people, they'll spit stuff at you, and then you get it on your face, and then you have to like shake your head, and it will all come off. There's one bit where you get all these jungle vine stuff, which all like falls on your head, and it's like hanging over like the screen, and it really feels like you've got stuff over your head, like that's doing it. It's really like really nice, like the way it's done, and
There's also parts of the level where there's like those rocks which you can headbutt to knock through new areas. There's also enemies where they like they're basically chucking footballs, and you can either like dodge them or you can head them back to defeat them and stuff. And all that stuff is just so playful. And just like Nintendo games, it feels like it's constantly chucking new things at you. Also, the music's fantastic. I love how it looks. I mean, it's just there's such quality every minute you're playing. You're seeing something new and clever. And like, this is great. And I like James. I played like the first world, I guess on over the weekend. I was like, James, you've got to play this, because I know you love 3D platformers, and then we've sort of been doing it in unison, haven't we, James? And I'm like, have you done level 2? Have you done world 2? And there's a really cool bit on 2-1 and. Yeah, I know you're like wait until you see World 2. It's like it's just it's really cool. I mean, it's also because it has that VR thing of the sense of scale that you get from it. And like, can I spoil the first boss? Like, what happens with that a bit? Yeah,
go for it.
I mean, it's almost really hard to talk about this game, because although it's not like a narrative experience, like there are so many amazing little touches and moments. You almost don't want to say it because you want people to see it and experience it for themselves. But you can tell them a bit about the boss. I
mean, the first boss it's basically like kind of like a Donkey Kong kind of thing, as in it's like this massive robotic monkey, and it's like you go up this skyscraper to fight it at the top, but it's huge. Like, this monkey is absolutely massive, and it's like towering over you, and then you like your character is like tiny, But then when you start like working out how to take it down, it feels wonderful. Like it really does. I mean, this game it's made me so excited. Like playing it, I was really just loving it so much. Like it's just so good.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't finished this game yet, and I played a ton of other VR games, but I mean, right now, this is the best PSVR game I played, for sure.
So what does it do that other VR games don't do? Like, what elevates it to that level?
I think it's just the whole package. There's just so many clever moments. A lot of VR games just rely on the fact that things are big, or you can see them in 3D, or you can like look and you're next to these things. But it just feels that there's a lot of thought gone into this. It's not just, well, it's a 3D platform in VR. That's it. It's constantly surprising of new little tricks and new little cool, clever things.
I think how many of those tricks are sort of VR? Like, how much of the stuff that you love is because it's in VR rather than
almost all
the
of
game
it
itself?
Like, because especially like some of the special abilities that you unlock and stuff, you couldn't do them if it wasn't in VR. Like it wouldn't work. Like really.
Like, give us an example of a special ability.
Well, one of them is like you have like this like grappling hook thing that you use to like pull stuff down and everything, and because of the way it works with the camera, it knows like how you're holding it and where it's going and everything. And I don't know how that would work if you didn't do it in VR, because you wouldn't get the same depth perception and everything. It'd be odd. Like,
I mean, a lot of people are probably thinking, and maybe you guys think it too, like, well, if it wasn't VR, then is it even a good game? But the fact is, it is in VR, and it just does loads of really clever things. Also, there's a visual representation of the DualShock also in the game, and then as James said, there's loads of different abilities. You can get like a water pistol, a water like cannon, a water hose, whatever. But on DualShock, you get like a grappling hook, which you can use to attach to hooks, which your Astrobot can go on the rope to go over service it, go over like pits and stuff, or you can use that to pull down rocks. There's also what else is there? Yeah, there's a few things, and maybe there's some things you could do in like a traditional 2D platformer, a traditional 3D non-VR platformer, but there's just such a sort of a feeling of tactility or tactileness. You being in the world, you being essential this world where this Astrobot is climbing over you and you're having to like look round, and it's just like I've never really had boss battles like it where you really truly feel, especially when I was done at the end of the third world, like, I don't know, just something as simple as seeing these like huge bosses and doing things like jumping over like fire and and doing the things you've done in every single 3D platformer for years. It just feels different, and there's such a level of craft and love that's gone into this.
It's also because you feel like you're just sitting in the level, like you feel like you're actually there, which is obviously the thing with VR, and you can't get that with like a regular 3D platformer, because there's always like the level of abstraction, the fact that you're watching it on a TV. Whereas with this, you feel like you're sitting there, and you're just, and like, especially when you can see like your character like running underneath you and stuff, it's just like you are sort of sitting. I mean, one of the things that I think makes this special in terms of like this is a VR game that I really, really have enjoyed is the fact that this feels, it's not just based on gimmicks, if you see what I mean. Like quite a few VR games that I've played, it's like you play it for, I don't know, like an hour or whatever, and then you're like, oh yeah, that was cool, that was nice. This is the first one where I've like not wanted to take the headset off, but also kind of forgotten that I'm wearing it and just playing it as a game rather than as an experience, if you see what I mean. Does that make any sense?
Yeah,
Maybe
no,
no,
me,
totally.
Definitely. Well, what do you guys think hearing this?
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to get excited about because the barrier for entry for Sean and I is so high. Yeah. So it's not like we can say, "Oh yeah, no, I really want to play this," because we know that that's a £300 investment.
Yeah. So, well, not that much now because you can pick them up quite cheap. They've gone down in price loads because there's loads of people who sold them and stuff, which is a shame.
Still over £200 though, aren't they?
I think you can get them maybe a bit cheaper. I don't know.
What, with the camera and the...
Yeah, like, a guy from work basically like basically the headset, camera, 2 moves, and a game for like £220 the other day in Argos. It was crazy.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this isn't a game to buy the thing for. Like, I don't think it's... But it's like, if you've got it, it's it's so good.
Yeah, it's probably not a system seller, but if you got it, it's absolutely essential. And
but that's the problem, isn't it? Is that you know.
Yeah, but I don't know any games really particularly good worth like, you know, £250 for VR, which isn't something you're going to be using every single day. It's not like, okay, Mario 64 is a system seller, but also you got a console which you can play loads of other games for. I don't think we're quite in that yet, but
no,
my
and
God,
it's not a slight on the game either. It's not
played
it's just in terms of PSVR, there's still not quite enough there, really. I don't think, unless you're like kind of enthusiast.
There, but it's not quite the same.
See, if PokerStars VR came out on PSVR, I'm there. I'm getting it.
That'd be cool. It'd be good to.
I didn't realise. I looked up that game as well after the show that we did. It's free to play.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Yep. Which means all those toys you're going to have to pay for. But
well, it's interesting because off the back of that, I don't think I talked about this on the show. I loaded up the old Gear VR to see if there were any poker games on that, and basically there's two that are meant to be decent. I've downloaded them both because they're both free. But one's actually a very good game of poker, and the other one's got all the gimmicky shit, but it's like you have to pay for a table. Like you rent a table, that's how you pay for the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so fuck that.
Yeah. No, I mean, if they're not single-use items that you can buy, then fucking hell, £15 or whatever. Getting some stuff, and oh my God, I would buy that on PSVR.
Yeah, I looked into it also after EGX, and that the guys behind it said that, or the team, behind PokerStars said they're exploring the possibility of taking it to PSVR.
God, that would be a system seller for me. Straight up.
But yeah, if you've got PSVR or maybe you're on the fence and there's other games you want to get, like this is an absolutely essential purchase. I've just absolutely loved every minute I've played with it, and I'm so happy that there's more. Also within each level, there's a chameleon that you can try and find, and they're a little bit harder because often they're just camouflaged in the environment. But when you find them and see them, then you unlock a challenge mode, which I haven't actually played them yet. I've unlocked all of them, but I haven't tried them.
There's a whole ton of like challenge levels, isn't there, that you can play.
But it's brilliant so far.
It's so good.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
sounds good.
That's what I've been playing for now. I mean, I'm mostly just playing this and Forza now until Red Dead.
Yeah, not long now. James,
I've got two others which I'll sort of breeze through quickly because one of them is I played the Council episode 4, so this is like that episodic narrative game I've been playing for like a while. And Sean, did you play episode 3 in the end?
I didn't know. I never finished 2.
Okay.
I need to sort that out. Or do I?
Yeah. See, this has taken a turn, which is the thing. And because the thing is, right, is like the strength of this in the beginning was that like it was a bit different to all the other narrative games in that you had to you could focus experience points, so that you could then kind of build a specific kind of character type that then would be useful for for exploring the games in in different ways. Yeah. But in this one, they've introduced a new concept which makes the whole of that feel kind of pointless and not so great. And even though the game, because this is episode 4, so there's one more left, and they've set up the premise for a reasonably I think it's a reasonably interesting conclusion, but it feels like they're funneling down basically three routes of 3 possible endings. Mm-hmm. That's what it feels like at this stage, which is a shame because it makes the earlier stuff feel a bit pointless and a bit kind of why did I do all that? Because it was really interesting and I thought it was going to go in a certain direction and then it didn't. And then in this episode they sort of pivot the sort of the direction of the story, and I'm not very happy with the way that they've done that because it doesn't feel grounded in the way that I was hoping it was going to be. And it was one of those things where it was I was worried that they were going to do this and they have, and it's kind of disappointed me a bit, to be honest. And technically, the game is still a bit of a mess. Yeah. It's really jerky in places, and the voice work this time seems to have particular problems, whereby you get the whole thing. Do you remember those videos of Assassin's Creed Unity, where there was characters talking over each other and stuff like that? You got that going on, in this, which is people not finishing their sentences and stuff. And it's just, I'm curious to see where it's going to go, but it just feels like. I don't know. I just feel a bit disappointed, really.
It's a shame because it's such a fascinating setting, and shame.
And it's just where they've gone with it. I feel is very video gamey, and that to me that's a bit of a shame because the systems they set up in the beginning are brilliant, and I just wish that they'd done more with them because, well, then maybe they will in episode 5. Maybe I'm completely wrong about all this, and it will, the episode 5 will turn it around. But I don't know, it's just not gone where I really want it to. The only other game I played is Super Mario Party, which actually I've not really played it very much myself, but my family have played it a lot, and it's
getting really good reviews.
Yeah, well, it's weird because like I wasn't interested in buying this at all, and it was Chen that was actually saying maybe we can get that because those. Do you know, like on what channel is it? It's one. What's one of those kids' channels where they just have Nintendo adverts just constantly?
The Nintendo YouTube channel. I think it's that one.
No, we don't go on there, but it's No, on one of those things, and like they've got like constant adverts for it, and like Asher was like really interested in it, and as I said, I've barely touched it, but the family are absolutely loving it, and it's a shock because like even Chen was like laughing hysterically the other night when they were playing it, and I've never seen her do that like with the game ever, and I've played one round of it, and it does seem that one of the things that I never liked about the Mario Party games was the way that the boards, like the board game like approach to it always felt not overly complicated, but like there was just too much dialogue. There was too many, possible things.
Too slow.
Yeah, it's basically too slow. Yeah, this feels a lot more streamlined to me, and it doesn't take anywhere near as long to get around the board. And the mini games are fantastic. Like my daughter, like Rachel, was just like there's one of them which is this paparazzi one where you have to try, like all 4 of you are trying to get in front of a camera to take a photo, but you can like hit the other characters and like push them out the way. So, and then it will suddenly like take the photo, and then you see the photo on the screen, and you got like Princess Daisy being pushed over by Rosalina and stuff like that, and it looked so funny because they have like these like mad face expressions as well, and they were just laughing hysterically. And the first time we played it, it didn't go very well because I found out that my daughter really, really doesn't like losing, and got very, very angry and started threatening the CPU characters, which was a bit weird. But then now this has been.
What's she saying to him?
No, she was like, "I'm going to kill you" and stuff like that. It was crazy, but I found that it has been a great game for teaching them about losing and just like how to lose more gracefully with things. But you see, the trouble is that like my son is always winding my daughter up. I mean, he does that in just general life anyway. But when he's playing this, he's doing it all the time. Like he does things like stealing her coins, poisoning her character so that it loses turns and stuff like that. So it starts up all these like massive like arguments and stuff. But this is the first game that I've heard like praise from like Chen, like talking about a game, like saying that she thought it was great, and yeah, it is good. It's definitely good. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to last, or like how long we'll play it for, but so far we haven't unlocked hardly anything, and it's been great. Like just so many good games.
One question, and I really want to know this: can you do 2-on-2 with that game?
How do you mean?
Like, because one of the things I want to do, I want to get this, and I want to play it with Harry. But it'd just be pointless if it was all against all.
Yeah.
If they did like a team mode where me and Harry... great.
There's team play as well. Yeah, you can do team play.
Because that would be fantastic. If it was me and Harry versus 2 computer-controlled characters, then perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There's a lot... I mean, you can only play it with Joy-Cons as well. There's no like controller support at all.
Yeah, but when you see the game being played... I mean, you can only... Like, when you watch the adverts for it, you can see that I mean, it's clear why they've done that.
Yeah.
The whole thing is motion controlled, and the mini games all based around the Joy-Cons themselves rather than anything else. So yeah, it makes total sense.
I mean, it's the usual thing where they're a bit hit and miss. Like some of them are better than others, but in general, really, really well put together. And it's just, I'm so pleased that it's not just like the constant dialogue and stuff like that, because that's always the thing that I found irritating about the Mario Party games whenever I played them, was just that. Everything was so slow, like just try and get into anything.
Yeah, you're totally right. And, you are right.
But this is much faster and just funny, like really funny. Like the kids were just laughing hysterically, and it was it's a lot of fun.
Is there online playing this?
Yeah, there is. I was about to say the online game mode, or the one that I read about recently, sounds fantastic. Where it cuts out. I mean, I'm sure you could play the normal game mode as well, but this game mode, it cuts out the board games completely, and it sticks you in a room with 3 other people, and it just chucks 5 mini games at you at complete random, and then whoever wins the most of those mini games wins. That sounds like a great way of playing online.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Just trying these little mini games and and then just cutting out all the other stuff. Because that can't be fun watching someone else take a move like online. It must be a bit of a pain in the arse. But if you're getting straight to the mini games and just playing them one after the other in quite short bursts, that would be really good fun.
But yeah, it's excellent. So yeah, and that's all I've been playing.
All right, Sean.
Apart from Golf Story, but I don't want to get into that because.
Oh my god, have you started it?
Yeah, I've been playing it for a while now. I'm not sure what I think about it, to be honest. I've
really?
I'm not sure if I'm enjoying it or not. Is the problem?
Yeah.
Have you worked out how the special shots work yet?
How do you mean?
One of the things that people don't realise, and I didn't realise until later on, is that you've got a ton of special shots. Some of them ignore the wind. Some of them mean that you're like teeing off, even though you're in the rough and stuff like that. And then you've got this stamina bar at the bottom left. And you can use like 3 special shots in a round, or you can build up that meter again. Have a look into it, just like Google special shots or something on
okay.
It will change the way you play it, and it makes all the irritating shit go away.
Okay.
Once you realise that you could do that stuff, it's way better. But yeah, no, I loved that game. So it's a shame to hear that you're not too sure on it.
Yeah,
but there you go.
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
All right, Sean.
I mean, all I've got that we haven't already talked about is Destiny 2, so I've skipped.
Has anything changed? Was it more the same?
I've basically, like, most of my time has been spent just exploring the Dreaming City, which is mental. Like, you can get so fucking lost in it, it's ridiculous. But
are you still playing it on your own?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, it's good that it's still good, even if you're on your own.
Yeah, totally. There's so much you can just do on your own. It's not really a problem. Like, unless you want to get into the weekly Nightfall stuff or the raid or whatever. Like, pretty much everything else I've been all right. So
now, if I was Bungie, I would probably be prepping a decent drop in like the week before Red Dead. Do you think? Are you playing Red Dead regardless, or are you going to just
like the Halloween event is coming up? I don't know when that's actually going to start, if they're going to try and slip that in before Red Dead or not. But I mean, those sort of seasonal things are usually like kind of fun, but not really major
like
deals.
Festival of the Lost or something. I can't remember what they call it.
Yeah, and Christmas is the Dawning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's usually just like some extra little events and some shaders and shit.
But are you mentally preparing just to drop this when Red Dead comes out? Or?
I don't know. It's possible. Yeah, I'll have to see.
There's no way you're playing this and Red Dead at the same time.
True, yeah, it's not physically possible, is it?
One or t'other. Yeah. All right, then. Okay, should we do emails and questions and stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
Let's do
emails. If you want to send us an email, thecomputergameshow@gmail.com. Simon Bradley says, "Hi, I recently bought a Switch. Hello. I know you lot are all big fans, but why should I choose it for multi-format games? Do you prefer it because you have families and can't always be in control of the TV? I often find myself torn between the PS4 and Switch versions of a lot of these smaller games."
It's very rare that I'd buy a multi-format game on the Switch. Mm-hmm. It seems to be my indie / first party game system.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know, how many multi-format games are there? Like discounting indie stuff. How many?
Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, when we say multi-format, I suppose if it comes to indie games, I'd rather play it on the Switch because I think the difference between the jump between how it runs on an Xbox or PS4 to how it runs on the Switch is minimal. So yeah, like that stuff I would always play on the Switch because it's good to have it in handheld form if I need it.
But like, while it's very impressive that like Doom and Wolfenstein 2 run on the Switch, am I going to go out of my way to play the Switch version of those? Probably not.
No, we are not.
See, I tried this last year with FIFA, and we all know how that turned out. And
well, you bought it 4 times. I was going to say,
I'm not doing that.
Worked out pretty well.
Not doing that again.
Technically, you bought 4 copies of it, James.
If it's a game like, say, Doom, or basically like the games that I want to see how they look in 4K and 60 frames and all that sort of stuff on a big TV, then I'll do that. But if it's a game, if it's an indie game or something where I know I'm going to want to sink a lot of time into it, even if it is on other platforms, like, say, Stardew Valley and other games like that, I know I'm just going to want to play it and get it on Switch because I'll get more time
Yeah, at the end of the day, like if there's no,
it's funny, isn't it? It's like we're all pretty into indie games. Like we're relatively into that scene, and the Switch is so good for playing those types of games that I would always pick the Switch version over anything else. Like I've always said, there are games that I definitely wouldn't have finished if I had to play them on the TV or on my PC or whatever. Like games. Yeah, totally.
Golf
Story is a good example. I never would have played that through on the PS4 or the Xbox.
Yeah, and Celeste as well is a big one for me.
Definitely.
Yeah. See, I played that on PS4, but that's because I burned through it in like a day or so. So yeah, it was good.
Got skills. That's the thing.
Yep.
Cool.
Simon Saint, another Simon, says, "Hi lads, I'm about to move my PS4 somewhere that it won't have a stable internet connection. What are the must-have single-player games I should make sure I've got?"
Well, it doesn't really matter because regardless of what it is, when you move it, there'll be a 60 gig single-player patch probably. It doesn't matter these days, does it?
True.
It's like when I got Spider-Man, I was like, oh, amazing, got Spider-Man. And then it's like, it's 40 minutes to install. Then it's like another 12 gig update. I mean,
it's mad, isn't it?
It doesn't matter these days, sadly.
Yeah.
But
but if he's not playing online, then that he doesn't have to download those updates.
Suppose, yeah. But he'll know he's playing an unpatched version.
I would probably say, of course, Bloodborne's the top.
Yeah,
of the,
that's got online bits though.
Yeah, but
it's not the point.
Don't really use them, do you?
Presumably God of War's on this list, right? That's got to be a big one.
God of War, Last of Us. If you haven't played that, definitely worth going through. Yeah. There's Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff recently.
Has Spider-Man got online stuff, Matt?
I don't think so. Not
Spider-Man then.
Yeah.
I've
Spider-Man
not played
definitely.
it, but Spider-Man. Rocket League. I mean, you can still play Rocket League on your own.
Yeah, should you though?
No, but Rocket League on your own is better than
not
Rocket
playing
League
Rocket
at all.
League. Yeah, okay.
Witcher 3.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, fucking hell.
Of course.
Just download the DLC first.
I mean,
and Red Dead.
First thing you should do is actually just to get one of those network extender things. You know what I mean? Those network
because I'm intrigued as to why he won't have a stable internet connection.
Yeah,
but who knows?
Yeah, that sounds like he's been fleecing the next door neighbour's Wi-Fi.
And they've changed the password.
They've changed the password, or he's moved to another side of the house where it's clearly just out of range.
Yeah, what they call that? I've actually got some, but what they call those things where they basically connect, like you basically get your internet through like your power lines and stuff.
Oh, they're terrible. I've tried all of those.
Oh, I've had a good experience with them.
I'm using one right now, which Virgin gave me, so I've got like decent internet stuff upstairs. But it's all good.
Yeah, but James's house, like fucking acres.
I was going to say, it can depend on the wiring in your house.
I've moved to the other room, which has a different postcode.
I had to set up on those mesh networks in the end because nothing worked.
Has that worked well though?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Which one have you got?
Perfectly.
I'll save it for interface.
Save it. Yeah.
Please save it for interface. That is desolved, was it?
Next episode coming soon.
Right, tweets. Okay. If you want to tweet us at Computer Game Pod on Twitter, Mike Pettit89 says best sandwich ?
I've got two answers here. If I go to like somewhere, maybe going for somewhere for work or somewhere new, and I'm going to a cafe in the morning, I always get a BLT just because a BLT and mayonnaise just to check how good the cafe is.
No.
But all-day breakfast. It's an all-day breakfast in a sandwich. It's the best.
No.
I cannot.
What is that? Because, I mean, I've seen various different combinations of that. Are you whacking a hash brown in there?
No.
If only. That'll make it
fried
possible.
bread in the sandwich.
Yeah, beans. I mean, I've never really understood that. Beans, you whacking beans in there, James?
No, it's just the bacon, a sausage, some egg, yeah.
But it's just like refrigerated fried egg.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, no, not in a proper, like...
Yeah, I was talking
you're talking about from Tesco's or whatever.
Deal. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, no, they're disgusting, those things. I'm not happy with egg in a sandwich that's been in a pack for a long time. Yeah, I can't deal with that. No, the answer for me is definitely bacon and brie.
Ooh.
That's bacon and
that's a pretty good one. Yeah.
That is a fucking good sandwich.
when it gets close to Christmas, you get like the bacon, turkey, and brie and cranberry sauce.
Mate, I don't like them because they put the cranberry sauce in there.
I like cranberry sauce; it's great.
Yeah,
it's
all right, but
yeah. So if it's not BLT cafe, then if it has to be like a pre-made one or one where I don't do BLT, it's New Yorker every time. I'm still going. Yeah. There used to be a bagel shop in London called Ixie's Bagels, and they made the best New Yorker bagel, and that's gone now. And then some places put salmon in a New Yorker bagel. You don't do that. You don't do that.
Bacon and brie.
Coronation chicken, mate.
Oh, I've never bought one in my life, and I like it, but I've never bought never done a coronation chicken sandwich.
Coronation chicken. What's the other chicken one that people get that's like it tastes like peanuts? It tastes like peanut butter with chicken in it.
Chicken satay.
Chicken.
Yeah, I was going to say satay chicken.
Is it chicken satay?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Chicken tikka.
Satay chicken's that's good, man.
Yeah. I like if I'm going to Tesco's, it's like chicken stuff. Although Tesco do a chicken stuffing and bacon sandwich, and that's surprisingly good. It doesn't need the bacon in there, but and I'm not a fan of that style of bacon, but it works.
I cannot wait for Christmas sandwiches to come back. I fucking love them. The M&S one is the king. Just get ready for that.
Well, I can't afford that.
Yes. The Frank at TheFrank2505 says, just picked up an Xbox One X for Christmas. Been a Sony guy all my days. What backwards compatible games are a must? I mean, that Xbox One X is not staying wrapped up until Christmas, is it?
Yeah, I was about to say, I bought one for Christmas in October. That's not how it works. That's not how it works.
Just check it works, mate.
Yeah, why are you interested in backwards compatible games like that? That was the last thing on my mind when I bought an X.
Yeah, but that's always the last thing.
Because he's saying if he's always been
retro stuff.
If he's always been a Sony guy, then he's literally not played any Xbox 360 stuff.
But
I guess
also
is
he's
his
not
point.
going to have the library.
Yeah, that's
true.
Yeah,
I mean, buy Game Pass because most of the stuff's on that. You know what I mean? Like you could definitely get Master Chief Collection.
Yeah,
blast through them because they'll still be worth playing.
The Gears of War games are still not bad, actually.
Yeah, they're also in Game Pass.
1, 2, and 3 was fantastic.
Yeah, they were good
Judgment
games.
wasn't good. I've not played 4, but I heard good things. So
yeah, just get Game Pass, and then you've got everything really.
Skate 3.
Yeah, you should definitely get Game Pass.
Yeah. Louis Belfort says, what's the last freemium game you got hooked on? I'm currently playing Asphalt 9 and I'm neck deep into the daily grind of earning credits towards new cars, multiplayer points, etc. Still enjoying it, but consciously aware of all the little tricks it uses to keep you coming back.
I will not play any of those games, so I'm not interested.
Probably
I've been playing a
Darts of Fury, but I never actually put any money into it.
Yeah.
And then I started getting like really paranoid about how it works. And so I stopped playing it,
Yeah, see, I've been playing a lot of Alto's Odyssey, which is very good. But again, it's sort of the way it sort of weaves in the payment stuff is a bit insipid.
What's asking you to pay for?
It wasn't like that when it came out on iOS. It was just you just put down the money and it was the whole game.
Yeah, is that the first one or the second one?
The first one, yeah.
Okay, yes, this is the second one, and it's like, and it's just like, okay, so you pay money to like double the coins that you pick up and stuff, which obviously like immediately like that's a good investment if you do that right off the bat. Like there's another option to pay like £2.50. Says it removes adverts that appear later in the game, but I'm nearly at like the maximum level cap, so I don't know what that's about. You also have this option, like when you die, you get an option to like watch an advert to continue playing. I think you can pay a bit of money to just always have at least like one free extra life before you have to watch an advert. But then like there's like 3 different biomes in the game that like as you travel, you like go through these different like areas. And like some of the little missions that you get, the little objectives, will rely on you being in a certain area. And it's like, oh, well, you can pay 1,000 coins to go to the right one if you can't be asked actually travelling there. And it's just, it does just fucking spoil it for me a little bit. I've not paid, like I paid to get the coin doubler and the free extra life thing. So I think I've put in about a £5 or something. And for the amount of time I've spent on it, that's absolutely fine. But it is a bit like the game's still like, but keep watching adverts, give us some extra money, etc., etc. It's just,
it's horrendous. I just hate all of that. I'm just not interested. As soon as they start all that, I'm just not interested. I mean, this is one of the criticisms I've heard about. I mean, going back to Assassin's Creed, some people have been saying, like, you know, there's a lot of microtransactions in there, which is which is.
Why have you done that, James? We're gonna get messages now. We're gonna get messages. The last game I was heavily addicted in, of course, was Fire Emblem Heroes, and I'm still genuinely fucked off that Nintendo's new game, Dragalia Lost, is not out in Europe yet, and it might not be out till next year.
Jesus, is that far off?
Yeah, well, so it's out. So it's a new Nintendo game. It's basically like another Fire Emblem Heroes type affair. I believe it's like a sort of 3D. It's like a Fire Emblem Heroes game. Yes, it's been out for the last month or so in Australia and America. Loads of people who want to play in Europe are basically downloading it using some weird Android or VPN. You can either download.
I was going to say, I assume I can just get the APK.
Yeah. So I guess Android you can get it regardless of where you are. And loads of people who are on iOS have been basically creating US accounts, which I can't be bothered to do because then if you link your Nintendo account, you basically go lose your progress. Anyway, I really want to play that game. But it's not out, and every day I'm like, I'll search for Dragalia Lost on the store. No, it's not out, and there's no release date or anything. It's just, why aren't they releasing things worldwide? What's their problem? It's out in the States, for goodness sake. Does my nut in? Anyway, I want to play that game, but the answer is Fire Emblem Heroes. Actually, is it not going to be a new Fire Emblem game out this year, or is that next year now?
I can't remember.
For Switch, I thought it was coming out in 2018.
I think it must be next year because there was no sign of it at EGX or anything, was there?
No. Okay, cool.
So, it must be a way.
It's next year. Yeah, there is.
Okay,
cool.
Year,
okay. All over that.
Yeah. Dave, you got one?
No, I said that Darts of Fury was...
Right, MJL at Vault42 Overseer. Question, does Forza Horizon 4 alone justify Game Pass? I'm loving it so much, I feel it does.
Fucking yes.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, for 1 month, you can play Forza Horizon 4, one of the best racing games of all time, for £8.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you
got an Xbox, get it.
If that was the only game you played on Game Pass and you ended up paying more for Game Pass than you would have just paid for the game, then not so much. But yeah,
But that's going to take, 6 months?
Exactly, yeah. A while.
Over that? More than 6 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, get it.
Yeah.
That's the easiest answer I've ever had to give to one of these questions.
Yeah, for sure. Right, last one. Matthew Moore. I don't know. After hearing David Turner's and JCA Farley going on about the Gardens Between, I will give it a go. Has anyone on the Computer Game Pod tried Gorogoa? If you haven't, try it. Short but lovely. I've played it. It's fucking incredible.
Really? What is it?
Yeah. It's easily one of the cleverest puzzle games I've ever played. It's just this really weird game where you've got these 4 panels on the screen, and basically it's all about weird sort of perspective shifting puzzles. So there might be a character and you're trying to get him from one end of a room to the other, but it's all about picking up these panels and sort of rearranging them so that environments so even though these 4 panels are separate, they sort of join up in weird ways, and you'll be zooming in and out of one bit and then picking up a certain element from one bit and moving it to another one and rearranging shit. And it's there's one entire section where one of these panels is a load of photographs on a wall, and you're getting a character to essentially travel through all the photographs by zooming into one photograph and being right, okay, well that element sort of matches what's in this other panel, so I've moved that there. And it's so good. It is absolutely unbelievable. I think it's on the Switch. That's where I played it on. I believe it's also on iOS and is cheaper, and it is basically a touchscreen game anyway.
Yeah,
so
I've just searched as a 5 on iOS.
Yeah, do it, man. It's so good. That's it.
Nice. Well, we did get one more that I think is worth reading out. This one's from Nick Wirt, at Just Nick again. Just started listening to TCGS from episode 1 over the summer, and we'll be caught up this week. You gents make a great podcast. Thank you very much. What keeps you coming back every week?
When was this sent in? I didn't see this one. Was this?
No, it was sent directly to me about 2 hours ago. Yeah, that's why. Just fame. Fame, isn't it? Fame?
Well, it's a dedication to listeners, isn't it?
The babes.
No. The babes. The free games. And fame.
Well, you come to the wrong place if you want fame, Dave.
Why?
Well, there's probably easier, quicker, and more lucrative ways of being famous and doing a podcast.
Example, I fail to believe that if you're not trying that, because we all know how fame hungry you are.
No, I just want to get to the top. This mother's going straight to the top. That's all I know.
Yeah, that's fine. But what I'm saying is that why are you not trying the more easier routes?
That was shocking low self-esteem.
Matt, do some social media stuff this time because for ages you've done.
Of course, all links to all our social network stuff are in the show notes. Just look at your podcast player right now, and they're there. But we would love your Apple podcast reviews. They really help. Just takes like 30 seconds. If you haven't left a review before, we'd super appreciate it. That sort of gets up the charts and whatnot. We're on Google Podcasts, on Spotify, we're everywhere. Dave starts streaming now. It seems almost like twice a week on Twitch, and Sean will be doing his FIFA stream soon. So if you've got an Amazon Prime account and you've linked it to your Twitch account, you've got a free Prime subscription every month. We would love those Prime subscriptions. Just go over there, hit subscribe. Won't cost you a penny. And it gets like 50p into our pockets. So we really appreciate that. That's about it.
Also, a massive thank you to everyone that sent us a tip last week. It's very, very much appreciated. And quite a few of you did after our call out. So thank you very much for that. I can't tell you how much we appreciate that support. It all goes in our back pocket, basically, but we spend it on cool stuff. So that's at least you know that. We'll be back next week. Thanks for living it. See you then. Goodbye.
Cheers. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
So Sean's a what?